Well, whoop, there it is. It's time for Insert Credit.
Just in time for Valentine's Day 2022, this is our Game of the Year episode for Insert Credit. This week, our panelists will take turns drafting and then collectively ranking the greatest releases over the 2021 calendar year to determine our own combined list that everyone is guaranteed to be dissatisfied with.
Excellent.
I'm Alex Jaffe, and one of my favorite non-video game media from the year 2021 was the film Pig, starring Nicolas Cage and written and directed by Michael Samosky.
Boy, that's a pig, mate.
Let's see. I'm Frank Cifaldi, one of my favorite non-video game media from this year. I'm trying to think of which of the streaming service shows was the most interesting that we've watched. And I don't know, we mostly watched that superhero and Star Wars stuff, all them Disney Pluses. And I think maybe I'll go WandaVision. Was that this year?
W-Vision.
I think
that was this year, all right, Jerry.
That was this year. I like that one out of all of them because it just jumps out at me as the one I remember the most because started off real strange and did a really good job ramping up the what's going on here, the mystery.
Yeah, I watched that one. I'm Tim Rogers, and my favorite piece of non-video game related media in the year 2021. Phrasing the answer this way kind of makes it sound like I don't enjoy too much of anything that's not a video game. Though, played a lot of video games. I played 50 video games in 40 days. That's not true. I played a lot more than that, in a lot more days than that. I'm thinking of streaming shows too. Not WandaVision, not Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not Loki. Can I say that? I watched all of those. I don't know why. I just rolled in the filth.
It's what you're supposed to do, man. Join us. That's just what we do now.
We're trapped in a box. Let's roll in the filth. Welcome back to Insert Credit Podcast. I like that film, The Last Duel. I liked that film, No Time to Die. That Daniel Craig. What a man, that Daniel Craig. That's all. There we go. That's my answer. Final answer.
The complaint I hear about No Time to Die is that for a James Bond movie, it takes itself too seriously.
I mean, there's only so much a man or any kind of a person can do with a sentence that begins, what I hear about blank. So that's my answer there. I mean, I don't know.
Fair enough.
You can watch it and not take it as seriously as it may or may not take itself, and possibly have a really good time either way. I found Daniel Craig's final ultimate embodiment of the James Bond sense of humor quite exquisite. He really got in there.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. It's hard to choose what my favorite non-video game media from 2021 was. I watched a lot of stuff. I listened to a lot of stuff. I guess I'm going to choose a movie and an album, and I'll just say these are one of my favorites.
That's within the prompt.
A music album I liked is the self-titled album by Melissa, the black metal band from New York with a lady singer.
I listened to that album.
Pretty good. Good black metal music if you like that. Then there's, for movies, I think I'm going to choose Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
That's a pretty good movie.
That movie's got a bunch of weird stuff happening. It's got a unique sensibility and a visual style, and I appreciate all of those things. And those are, I think what I liked about this movie is I usually appreciate those things in movies that are like dire and sour and weird or mean or whatever, like Mandy or something. This is like, what if you applied those sensibilities, not the exact visual ideas, but what if you applied those thoughts of like something different is going to continue to happen and it's going to keep looking different to a comedy that's nice about two ladies being friends. And that's what this movie is. And I liked that. So I guess I'll choose that one.
All right. People aren't here to listen to us talk about not video games. Let's talk about video games.
What if they were?
What if they were?
They might be.
Maybe someday, Jerry. Maybe someday.
In the bonus episodes, they are.
Yeah, you could do that at patreon.com/insertcredit. For now, let's begin the draft. Frank, what have you got for us?
All right. Well, much like non-gaming media, I somehow didn't consume that much new gaming media last year. So
Frank's just not a consumer.
I just don't consume. I consume a lot of food, though. But my list I'm just gonna say it. These boys know it. I am nominating literally the 7 games that I played last year that came out last year.
Quite right,
All right.
mate. Quite right.
And I'm fine with that. So I'm going to go reverse chronological. This first one hopefully is not cheating, which is that I played Moon when it came out on Steam, which was technically early January, but I believe that English translation came out last year on other platforms. Is that right? Can we go to the producers on this?
I remember when it came out. I was there.
All right.
I think it counts.
Yeah, I'd count it. Go for it, Jerry. Go for it.
Cool to have on the list anyway, so I'm fine with that.
So neat little, anti-RPG. I played it for about an hour, and
Nice.
my take on it was like, oh yeah, it's Tulip, but with sprites.
Mm-hmm. And with a less immediately relatable metaphor, yeah.
I like Tulip just fine. I think it's a rare kind game. It has an air of kindness that I think is maybe kind of difficult to do in games, given how rare it is. I don't know, neat little game. When I say I played it for an hour, I don't mean that in a like I bounced off it because I didn't like it way. It's just I want to do something else, and then I just never got back to it.
What he means is he played it for an hour, then he moved to the install directory to an SD card, and then he stomped on the SD card with the heel of a heavy boot.
I was very upset.
That's what it means. I like Moon. I played that game a long time ago, back in 2003. And
it was probably a very different game in 2003.
Yeah, it was a little. It felt more exciting and inspiring. Not as exciting as it would have felt had I played it in like 1997 when it had originally come out. And then I bothered Yoshiro Kimura about translating it for many years until Toby Fox told him that he should translate it. And then Yoshiro Kimura asked me if I thought he should translate it. And I said, did you not ever hear me mention it? And he's like, oh, I think you might have mentioned it before. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, dude. And then I did it. And there's the game.
There you go.
Now that I have, I've been able to sit with it for a while. I still like it. That's about it. I have more stuff to say about Moon than I could fit into a minute or two here. But maybe I'll be saying it in an upcoming video. Not a video about Moon. I'm not going to make a video about Moon, though. I will. There might be a little Moon talk coming up at some point in the nearish future for me. So true Murderheads, look out for that. Like that game, good game. Did you play that game, Brandon?
So unfortunately, it is on my list of games I should have played but didn't.
Oh no!
I bought it right away and everything. It's just when I bought it, it was during one of those times when a lot of stuff was going on, and so when you buy something on the Switch and then it falls off the main page, it might as well not exist anymore.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, Brandon, when you get to it, read the manual. You got to Google for it for some reason.
Yeah.
You got to download this manual, yeah.
There's no playing this game without the manual, which you have to find on your internet browser, not with the game for some reason.
Great. One thing I was thinking about is how you were talking about it's one of those rare games with kindness, but I'm sure that it is not kind toward the player.
True. Yeah. It is not generous. It doesn't respect your time.
Yeah. Because Tulip sure doesn't. So why would the game that was released 10-ish years earlier, I don't know, 8 years earlier, whatever, why would that be?
It is a brutally, ridiculously, horrifically difficult video game. Moon is.
Yeah.
Like, when you get right down to it, there's just kind of way too much going on in there in terms of diff.
How would you compare it to Tulip? Because I think Tulip gets very stupid like 4 hours in.
So Moon obviously predated Tulip by a good more than half a decade's worth of years. And it is very much stricter with regard to like action limit, like the amount of actions they let you take before the game makes your character game over. They flat out game over you much more easily in Moon than in Tulip. The game overs are very frustrating because they just kind of pop up. There it is. It's like, oops, you're done, jerk.
Yeah, your guy just flops on the ground and it says game over. That's what happens the first time you play this game, and then you start Googling and realize there's a manual that you're absolutely required to read that requires you Googling for it.
Back in the old days, yeah, they would have made you.
I'm just saying the manual should have been in the package. It's not that hard to have an image viewer in your game. It's ridiculous that manual's not in the game.
Yeah, it's bonkerino.
That's why it's at the bottom of our list. Tim, you're up next.
Okay, so I'm looking at my list. I played 82 games this year. I ate 40 pizzas in 30 days, like whatever reference I was trying to make. I can never get the numbers right on how many pizzas it was Papa John said he made and he ate in so many days. I'm a numbers guy too, so it's quite embarrassing for me. So we're all each going to bring about like 7 games. Am I supposed to presuppose games Brandon's going to bring up? Because I believe I played more video games than anybody on this show right now. Is that true?
Mhm.
Yeah, I did about 60,
Sure.
so yes, you did.
I played 200 some video games this year, most of them to completion. I'm not asking for any sort
Oh,
of...
I'm talking about games from 2021, but
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I played 82 2021 games
Got
this
it.
year.
Yeah.
And there's just so many that I don't know when to start throwing them out. So I've got to give you my...
I'm not doing the thing this time that I did in the last episode where I'm waiting for other people to say things so I don't have to. So if you think that I'm going to mention something, you can go ahead and not mention it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to bring up Dungeon Encounters. Did anybody play Dungeon Encounters? Or were you going to bring up Dungeon Encounters, Brandon?
I was not. I didn't play it. It's also on my list of things I should have played.
Dungeon Encounters is legit. Dungeon Encounters is a game that looks like it's made of graph paper, right? It is the most bare bones video game in the world. I think you go from 0 to within like an hour, you're just going to become terrified of like a 2-digit number. That's the best way I can pitch it to you. Is you're just going to see like a number 9 on the screen and be like, man, why does that number have to be on that square?
Yeah, I know that kind of feeling.
Yeah, it has all these really original character designs developed by a pedigree of Final Fantasy directors and developers, published by Square Enix. They're charging $30 for this game. Wait, how much is it? I know I got it for $30. I don't know how much it is right now. I'm looking up. For some reason, the price is the most important thing to me now.
It's $29.99.
$29.99 right now? Yeah, that's... Yeah, they charge $30 for this game. I've recommended it to so many people who are like, $30 for this? Like, what is this? They have the guts to just charge $30 because they know what the gumption of their game is, the gumption of their substance. They just confidently are charging you $29.99 for this game. I find that beautiful.
Incidentally, Moon is $18.99.
Bravely Default 2 was on sale for Steam for $29.99 at the same time. And they've got this graph paper looking game with all these original character designs. It is a much more curated, level designed experience than I expected it to be at first. I thought it was going to be some kind of a soup for freaks, Like, there's a lot of those games out there. I enjoy games like that, going all the way back to the roguelikes and the dwarf fortresses and whatnot. Though it turns out this game is actually, it's quite luxuriously robust. And it's got music that's all just like one overdriven electric guitar, just kind of like noodling various, I don't want to spoil anything, though, noodling various themes while you are in battle. The battle system is you could cut yourself on this game. It's quite incredible. It's just a very, very sharp, hard, solid video game that is so polished at what it tries to do. It just says heck it to anything else. And it's beautiful. And I would recommend it to anyone who's more interested in the encounters that happen in a dungeon than any of the other stuff.
Makes sense.
That's because it's Dungeon Encounters. It's not Dungeon Explorer. Yeah. It's about the encounters. What's your impression of this game, Brandon? I gave everyone time to Google it and look at pictures of it if they were unfamiliar.
Oh, I didn't do that. I had heard that it was like a solid low number RPG.
Yes.
Where the numbers are low and important, and that is intriguing to me, but it's like only on Steam, right?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm only on Steam these days, if you catch my meaning.
I believe that was the issue that I encountered, was that I'd have to play it on my computer.
You got to build yourself a big boy box, the best video game console of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Someday.
Where would you put it? Above or below Moon?
I'm duty bound to put it above Moon because I'm financially interested in Moon.
Yeah, makes sense.
Frank, Brandon, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'm not duty bound, but
yeah.
Fine. I can't tell if we're supposed to use our non-conflict of interest on Tim's behalf. I can't tell if that was a coded message from Tim or not.
No.
Oh, go for it.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
then
it's
sure. It's above it.
And you know what I've read about has intrigued me quite a bit, and it's a new game, so I think it warrants higher placement.
Agreed.
You're going to rip it up when you have a good time with it.
That's what I like
I'll
to
tell
do.
you, Dungeons & Encounters is in my wish list right now, and Moon isn't.
Oh, no.
Brandon, you're up next.
All right, I'm just gonna lead with this and make it weird. I'm going the exact opposite direction of where Tim went.
No, kill me, Jerry.
Talking about games that I am glad people are trying to make, regardless of whether they succeed. I'm gonna throw right out there
Oh,
Balan Wonderworld.
God.
Balls on the Wonderworld, dude.
Yep, I played this game for about 8-9 hours so far. I've really gotten in there. And so let me just say some things about it. It's bizarre. It's a very strange game. When you read about it and look at it and play it, you realize that these people were all trying to solve sensible problems. Like, they wanted it to be accessible. They wanted all kinds of different people to be able to play it and figure it out and enjoy it. But then they just came up with solutions in their heads and probably never talked to a single other person about those solutions, and then just went ahead with it. And none of those solutions were correct. So it looks weird. It sounds really weird. Like, they went for this musical theater idea, and the musical theater is just, like, not very good. But there is some good music in there. And the one-button platforming idea, while it is flawed, it actually works pretty well. Like, there are a lot of... You've got, like, these 80 costumes you're supposed to try. A bunch of them are pretty good. Some of them are not good, and you can just choose the good ones. And I think the real mistake they made was leading with that first level and putting that demo out with that first level, because the first level is the worst. And you can see, looking at their mindset of, we want everyone to be able to understand this, they went with the most boring, flattest, least interesting level first so that you could get used to playing the game. And then they did a bunch of interesting stuff later. And most of the levels are super vertical. You can get on top of basically anything, almost anything you can see, you can get on top of. You can get up there somehow or other. And I think that's really interesting. Like, places that you would expect you would not be able to get, you can get to, and there's probably something up there. It has a lot of big problems, but it has a lot of small successes that I think are really cool and interesting. And I really like the Chow Garden that they have with the stupid the Isle of Tims, where you have a bunch of birds named Tim that you literally throw into the gears of capitalism so that they will just keep grinding a number clock to go up to get you things that you don't really even need.
Oh, give me that stuff.
It's pretty, and then you can crossbreed them and turn them different colors and get them different little hats and things as you breed them. I spent a lot of time in there. And, like, yes, this game is a failure, but it is a failure after really trying to do some weird stuff and actually slightly succeeding at some of it. I think if they just hadn't tried to make it for kids, they would have been in good shape, because there is solid level design in there.
What, you mean if they had tried to make it for kids?
If they had not.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they did try to make it for kids, and the ways in which they tried to make it easy were flawed and not well thought out. Once it gets, like, mechanically interesting, it's pretty cool. Like, there's a power where you have to stop time, or you can stop time, and there are these platforms that, like, shift around. Like, they'll become a ramp that'll make you slide all the way down, and then it'll become stairs, and you're supposed to pause it when it's on the stairs, and then you can get up there. But if you use a different power, like a floating one, you can jump a couple times on the stairs and then float in the air while it turns into a slide, and it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then you can jump up again once it turns back into stairs. They just have, like, there's emergent solutions to puzzle problems in there that I think are interesting and worth exploring. And overall, I just had a fun, stupid, idiot time playing with it. It's like it's very Dreamcast game. It's got all these problems, but it's interesting, and you're like, why did someone do this? And that's my favorite question.
Bottom of the list, though, right?
Yeah, bottom of the list for now.
Interesting. For me, I'm the most interested in this so far, and it's top of the list for me. One of my favorite genres is flawed platformer. And so,
oh man, you're going to like it.
So far,
Tim,
this is the one that's exciting me the most, so my vote's top of the list.
We could put it up higher.
I spent about 2 hours with it, playing it in 4K 120 frames per second on my massive PC, probably the most hilarious use case possible for this PC. Okay, maybe not the most hilarious though. A pretty funny one.
It's the first PS5 game I played, so I'm in a similar boat there.
I played it on a 77-inch OLED television out of my RTX 3090. It really feels like well, I'm going to go ahead and say that I would put it at number 2 as well.
All right.
Because,
Let's do it.
You know what? Can we just say it? This is probably the last game Yuji Naka's ever going to make. That's not some social mobile. You know, that's like, I wish him well. He almost got there, you know. He's like one of those F1 drivers who never got a podium, but was nonetheless important to his team. He almost got there. He created Sonic the Hedgehog, quote unquote created. He never exactly set the world on fire.
I mean, he's from the old school where you could engineer innovation. You know, like,
yes,
and he was trying to.
We're just not in that world
anymore. And you can see all of that history in this video game.
In Balan Wonderworld,
in Balan Wonderworld. And when you learn more about its creation, it's like there are these bizarre CG sequences, and especially the earliest ones are very strange. And it's like, why did they put these in here? And if you look into the development of the game, originally it was just going to be illustrations, like a storybook. But then the CG team was like, we want to work on this. And they were just, like, people kept adding stuff to it. And, like, once you get halfway through the game, some of the CG sequences are, like, funny and stylish and well put together. And it's like, wow, if they had just cut out half the stuff, they would have been there.
There's no turning back past a certain point in creating something like that. It's like some kind of a funeral bonfire of a video game, right? It's like the Dreamcast it's a pyre. The Dreamcast and the Saturn are on this pyre, and they're just throwing scraps of stuff onto it. It's a sort of a game, a sort of a game funeral for an aesthetic, for an era, for a man's career, at least one man's career.
Yeah, I mean, he retired because of this. It's like,
I think
wild.
Because of all that, and if I can just take one more opportunity to say, just shame on anybody who uses social media for just like beating up on this game, like as hard as they did. It wasn't that funny. I don't know, man. It's not that funny to make fun of this game. None of the GIFs I saw being posted with just weird, like humorless one-word things like utterly shameful. Okay, that's 2 words. I saw there was like a GIF that's like shameful. Period. And it was like from some guy who's got like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. No, YouTube's #1 game comedy boy. Man, I don't know. I'm just getting a little upset. And it was just it was a game that got way too beat up. I will admit,
sure.
I bought it in the Steam winter sale.
I'm glad that I paid $15 for my PlayStation 5 copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been as happy if I paid $16 for it. I mean, $60. $16. $1 more is too many. But at $15, I was like, yeah, this is great. And also playing it on PS5, I didn't have whatever like performance issues that people were talking about. That didn't.
Wow, it's $40 on Steam right now. Wow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I know. It should be cheaper.
It'll be on sale some weekend. It'll be $5.
I'm gonna help it out by wish listing it. That's how you help games, right?
Yeah.
Yuji Naka's gonna rise from his grave.
The last thing I want to say about this game, my partner Christina, this is the first game that she has been interested in watching me play for, I guess for the last year probably. She likes to passively watch another game that I got on here, like look up every once in a while, but she was actually watching this one because you never knew what kind of thing was going to get thrown at you or what kind of weird nonsense was going to turn up, and that's an exciting thing. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. I think you've justified its placement here. You've won me over. Frank, what's your next game?
Dungeon Encounters is still the best.
Yeah.
So far, but just wait. So next on my reverse chronological Steam purchase history.
Next up. Yeah, let's do it.
Purchased on October 28th, 2021, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, got G, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Published by IDOS, developed by IDOS Montreal, which is the Deus Ex team, as well as Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
If you got the big boy system like me and Tim, I mean, this is the full, like full frame rate, like HDR, 4K, good looking stuff.
Yeah, it's all of it. Did you beat it?
Oh yeah, I had a really good time with this game. I mean, the best I
Yeah.
can describe it as, and I'd be interested in your take on this, Tim. I just think of it as like a game that you just kind of walk through. You know, like
Yes.
there's not much more to it. You just kind of log in, you make the next chapter complete, and a story happens, and it's and sometimes you just need that. I don't know. Like I just needed to sort of turn off and not have something where I'm grinding for resources. I mean, there's barely even side stuff to do in this game. You just kind of walk forward and have some combat times once in a while that are okay.
Generally decent combat with a neat team structure thing. I have, for literal decades now, been talking about the dinner time video game, and I know it's going to be a thing someday.
Totally.
Maybe not right now. I know it's going to be a thing. The video game that you and your girlfriend, or you and your as somebody can play while eating dinner. And not feel like just I feel like games like Until Dawn and whatever come close. Guardians of the Galaxy is not a dinner time game, but you got your hands on your controller the whole time. But it feels like it has the spirit of a dinner time video game, and I can't really explain. I think you know what I mean. What you said, you just slide right through it.
You really do,
right?
Yeah,
it's a very painless video game, and I know you've already confessed to having watched at least one of the Marvel shows. Did you watch all of them? Did you watch all
of the shows? Yes,
the Disney Plus ones. Oh, okay, yeah,
the Disney Plus ones. Yeah, I didn't watch. the Netflix. Well, I tried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never watched. I watched a little bit of Daredevil. So anyway, it's okay. So I played a little bit of that Avengers game, and it being an online service game or whatever, I was not. I believe the kids would say I bounced off of it. I believe I bounced off of that Avengers game, though it was
worth it.
Or no, wait, here it is. That's the sound of me in the Avengers game.
That's the one.
Okay, that's the one. I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing this blind.
Enthusiastically jump for joy off of the game. You were rejected by the game.
I bumped off of it. Let's put it that way. So it was. And a part of it was, and I mean, I'm no Marvel fanboy when it comes to these movies. Though the Kmart off-brand dudes in the game was a little weird in the Avengers, and then it was a little weird in the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy. And then when they played like a 20-minute gameplay demo of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing during a Square Enix live stream where I expected to see Final Fantasy 16 information, right? And I am I have the chat closed, but I know that they're on my side. I know that I'm on the same side as the chat for the first time in my life during one of these live streams, and I'm just I just couldn't even look at the game. And then I just saw people talking about it, and it was also on sale during the Steam Winter Sale, and I blasted that game. I blasted it. So
give us a ranking.
Everything I've heard about it makes me want to play it. I'm gonna play it because it seems not only like it's a smooth experience you can just go through and have a good time with, but also I watched 1.2 of those movies that they made.
Mm-hmm. Oh what, just 1.2?
Yeah, I couldn't get through the second one. Or I could have, but I didn't. I didn't feel inclined.
I think the second one's pretty good.
I didn't like it, but
I think it's in the upper tier of the Marvel movies. I would say if I had to rank them.
I mean, I appreciate first of all that it's I don't have to watch 15 other ones to get into it, but just hearing people say that they thought that this game was the best of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Was interesting. Regardless of whether they were being snippy or snarky or whatever, I think when I saw people talking about it, they were saying it positively, like they liked those movies.
Yeah, I didn't get snark when I saw that. I saw it as just like, oh yeah, this took what they started with those movies, but slowed it down so you could digest it more and give the characters more breathing room and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
more time for their jokes to like exist rather than just
proving that it should have been a TV show after all.
It basically is. You know what I'm going to say? It's basically one of these TV shows, but it's a game. It's divided into chapters, and they work really well as episodes of a show, and the writing is I think it's really good. Like I think there's some genuinely funny lines here. And something else I want to add before we get cut off talking about this game is that I really think there's something to games that use IP that already in terms of like hey, did you watch at least one of these movies? All right, you're set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you know who these guys are. Just
that's cool.
Go.
There's a certain thing to it. And I just want to say my final point about this game, the one thing that delighted me the most is the fact that it's the one video game, if they're establishing a franchise here, it's the one video game franchise we don't ever have to worry about Chris Pratt voicing the main character. I think that's pretty good. He's Mario now. He's probably doing Wario and Waluigi as well. I don't know. He's probably just going to be every video game character. Sonic. Is he Sonic?
Yeah,
I think
he
is.
Where are we ranking this boy?
Oh yeah, let me
the
look at that
ranking
list again.
We got Balan Wonderworld is in number 2. Dungeon Encounters is in number
Is this only the 4th game we've done?
Yes.
Wow.
It's
it
the
is.
4th game we've done.
Okay. I mean, I got to go with what I've played. I mean, for me, it's number 1.
So I came into this with like a top 10, just thinking that some of my top 10 would be taken by someone else. And this game was perhaps on my top 10. It was on my top 10. And I'm glad Frank had played it. But it was below the number of games I would be able to bring up on the show today. So I had it at my number 9.
Nice.
What was my full ranking? I will never reveal. I cannot say. We'll find out soon. Balan Wonderworld, hilarious, is wonderful as a thing, though Guardians of the Galaxy is a much better video game. I mean, as in terms of game that's fun to play,
sure.
I wouldn't put it at number 1 because I'm a jerk for that Dungeon Encounters.
I mean, I don't know if we need to fully sort this out right now, but we should think a little bit about whether we're privileging good video game or interesting try. Yeah. And I think on this show we tend to go more for interesting try. I'm not saying that this should go below Balan Wonderworld. I would not suggest that. But let's just think about that a little bit. Is all.
Yeah, it's a good question
for future ones. But let you want to put it above Balan Wonderworld?
I love the idea of Balan Wonderworld hovering near the top of the list.
Me too.
Yeah.
We can always try to let's make a plan to just, if anything happens, shoehorn it into the top 5.
Let's try to keep it in the top 5. Yeah.
All right. So where are we putting it?
2? You said, Tim?
2 sounds good. Yeah.
Frank wants 1. Tim says 2. I mean, cool with either, honestly.
Yeah, that's about right.
Very good. What's our next game to bring up? I believe it's somebody else's turn, and it's mine.
Yeah, it's yours.
It's you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull something off the bottom portion of my top 10 list, and I'm gonna throw out Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, sweeping the Oscars. I'm gonna plunk down Hitman 3, which came out in January of 2021, which was a long time ago, but not for me.
I saw a lot of good GIFs of people throwing their briefcases around and hitting people in the back of the head and having a lot of funny emergent things happen.
Yeah, that's... have you ever played a Hitman game, Brandon Sheffield?
Sadly, I have not. I have only looked at them.
Well, what if I told you that if you buy Hitman 3, you also get Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, and the graphics are enhanced, and the technology is modernized for all of them, and you get to play the full 2016 through 2021 Hitman trilogy, all in one beautiful package. When people ask me recommendations for video games, without fail, when people come to me, which they do quite frequently, and I mean on the street sometimes even, and they ask me what's a video game I should play, I always tell them, I ask, have you played every Yakuza and every Hitman? And usually people answer no, and I say, well, just complete that syllabus and then ask me for a recommendation. Yakuza and Hitman, Terry, they're the games that I sit here doing my job, playing video games, logging footage of video games, doing research, running numbers, crunching numbers, munching numbers. I was doing a little bit of that last week, if you know what I mean. That's a reference for the 80s kids will know what that was all about. As I sit here doing my job every time, I think, God, it would be cool to just play some video games, dude. Every once in a while, because my game job is job gaming is a little different from gaming, And foremost in my mind, very front of my mind, every time I think I would love to just play some video games, I've got Yakuza and Hitman. Those are the two. Like the Count of Monte Cristo, Wait and Hope, Yakuza and Hitman. I just want to sit down and be like, it'd be cool to just play every Yakuza game again. That's every day. Do you ever get this every day?
Yeah.
Well, I get the same thing for Hitman. Hitman is a storied series with many installments across many platforms, spanning decades. 2 whole decades, 3 whole decades, in fact. Though you can really cut to the chase, Joe Hollywood style, and just play the modern Hitman trilogy. If you want pound for pound, virtual square inch for virtual square inch, the best video game design on the market, I would say, is all there in Hitman. And if you fancy yourself any kind of fan of narrative, game design, level design, anything regarding the video game medium on any level, I'm talking indie to AAA, you gotta be Hitman literate, Jerry. It's time. The package is easy. It's an easy package.
I'll do it. The only thing that's put me off is the stealth thing, but I've seen that you don't always have to do that. I've seen a lot more videos of people doing it other ways, so I'll break it off one of these days. Pretty soon. I got a PS5 now.
I know you're one of those people who summarily dismisses anything with stealth, but in Hitman it is different because every level is like an environment with people. Hitman, the first level of Hitman 2 is like a wonderful example because you're at an F1 race in Miami, right? And it's just like the F1 race weekend, and there's just all these spectators, and there's all these little attractions, and you can just mess with a part in the engine if you disguise yourself as a mechanic, and then the car will crash. There's just all these many dozens of different little this delta of things that can happen. It's not even really stealth. Each level takes like 20, 30 minutes.
It's more subterfuge than stealth, I guess.
Yeah, and it's and the fact that this team is currently working on a goddarn James Bond game, which is probably going to be hilariously good, right? I mean, I don't know. Best games in the world, and I love those games.
All right, so ranking.
So I have tried to play, not 3, but I think maybe 2. But this was just like my wife was playing it. I think, I don't know, she went and took a bath or something. And I was like, let me try this. And I mean, I like it. I appreciate it from a distance, but it is, I have a difficult time understanding, I don't know, physically my character in this game. Like I feel like I get caught and I don't know how I could have seen someone kind of thing. So I think there is maybe a bit of a learning curve in order to feel comfortable in that skin.
Yeah, that's the stuff I don't like.
There's a great training mission. There's a really excellent, robust training mission in the game that you can play as many times as you want. Try the training. Everybody try the training mission. It's like reading the manual.
All the stuff Tim talked about, like, I respect it from a distance for all these. Like I recognize it as an exquisite video game that I have to psych myself up to even want to try.
On the other hand, as I invoked Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King for a reason, because I'm awarding it based on its trilogy. I don't necessarily think that I love the Hitman 3 missions the most. I think the best, if you were to pare down the Hitman trilogy to its best missions, it would definitely be a pretty evenly distributed, deep cut sort of mixtape across the 3 games. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily rank it as the number 1 2021 game.
Well, it just kind of feels like it's one game that adds new levels all the time, is what it feels like to me from a distance.
Yeah, and it is crammed with levels. So would-be purchasers take note. They done crammed it with levels.
So where should we go put it on here?
So much like Brandon's, I'm struggling in the same way Brandon did last time. Like this really does seem like it's top of the list in terms of good video games. But
yeah, it's tasty.
But it's making the top a little less interesting.
Yeah,
I'm looking a little bit more GameSpot-esque. Yeah.
And also based on previous discussions, I don't want to put it above Balan Wonderworld, so I'm going number 4.
Put it under B-Dub. Yeah, I'd say put it down under B-Dubs.
I like that.
Nice.
Maybe move B-Dubs up a slide.
Just while you're in there, Jeff.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll move it up. The B-Dub's time for moving up is coming soon. That's all I'll say. I won't spoil it. It's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Brandon, you're up next.
Oh, it's my turn. Heck. I gotta choose one. Man, the thing about Frank doing yours in reverse purchase order is like, I'm trying really hard not to take yours.
You know exactly what the one you would take is, so yeah.
I think I actually have 2 games that you've played on my top list.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I'm trying not to take those.
If anybody needs anybody to fill in, I got too many over here. So.
Oh, I got plenty more. But I'm gonna go with another weird boy here.
WB.
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that came out.
I remember that game.
It's a video game that came out. So what I respect about this game is several things.
The respect factor. The respect. Yeah.
One is I like how ugly it is. I think it's beautiful how ugly
It's ugly
it
as
is.
trash.
I think that it's
It's
uglyfully beautiful and beautifully ugly simultaneously. I respect the commitment. They just went for it, and they're like, we're gonna make it look like this. It looks so much better in motion than it does in screenshots. It's a weird game, but I also respect that they found a way to make it more accessible without making it less difficult.
mm-hmm.
You can retry from checkpoints with no penalty. If you're playing on the difficulty level that I was, you just go back and you can try it again. And I really appreciate that because that's what allows a person like me to get better at this game. It's not starting at the beginning is a thing that makes me give up. Like, I don't want to start at the start every time and then get better little by little and squeak my way up to getting better. I want to get better at, I'm bad at this segment. So if I have to repeat this segment a bunch of times, I want to be able to do that right in a row, which you now can with this game. I don't know. I think it's got a goofy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly made by people who loved making it or loved the series. I don't know how much fun they actually had, but I can feel the appreciation for it from the developers, and I like all the little weapons. I like the little outfits you can have. It's and you gain magic, which has limited utility, but is kind of neat, and a skill tree and whatever, all that kind of normal, regular, modern stuff. But the core of the game is still just jump at the right time, hit the attack button at the right time. And I think it's very nice. I think they did a great job. That's what I think.
I played that. I will say I bought this during the Steam Winter Sale, of course, in case you didn't know that. I bought a lot of games during the Steam Winter Sale. It's going to keep coming up. Deal with it. I played it for about a half an hour. I didn't count this on my list of 82 games that I played in 2021, but I did play it in early 2022. And
yeah, I played it in 2022 as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I would count. It is a 2021 game, I guess.
It is a 2021
now that you bring
game.
it up.
Yeah, it counts.
It is the first video game, I believe, in video game history that really gives you a very faithful Susumu Matsushita art. He's done all the covers for Famitsu for decades. He's done so many illustrations. He did a Tatsuro Yamashita album cover, in case everybody doesn't know that.
Good luck!
And bingo. He did a good job with that. Very good work. Susumu Matsushita. So this is our only video game on this list so far with a really concrete Tatsuro Yamashita link. So
connection.
That puts it.
That's pretty good.
That gives it some strength. I will say that I think, as a bit of a purveyor of the old video games, especially of late, MrAddons.com, I just don't like the Ghosts and Goblins series. Even though I love Goblins. I think Goblins are so cool.
Ghosts are pretty cool too. Well, I haven't generally liked this series, and I think this is my favorite implementation of it. So I wouldn't necessarily put it all the way at the top.
They finally made a good one, is the way I would say.
Yeah.
And it's like, but to what purpose? I mean, I love the fact that Ghouls and Ghosts games, especially once they bring the double jump in, the Harrier jump, as it's called in Japan, the Hariya jump, is that jump sucks. I love it. Like, you press the button again in the air and your guy does this really, really awkward fixed distance commitment heavy
rigid arc
jump with this. Yeah, so that sort of stuff I love. Okay, so the reason why, I had a Super Nintendo back in the day. I'm sorry. I had a Super Nintendo. And I played
it on Super Graphics.
I played Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It was a launch game for the Super Nintendo, and I rented it once. We wanted my mom to rent us Final Fantasy II. Because we want to play Final Fantasy II. And again, because we had to keep renting it and restarting because somebody would name all the characters Butthole or whatever and nuke our save, and they're on level 0 again, level 1, level 2. My mom accidentally rented us Super Ghouls and Ghosts too many times, and that game has like the worst unforgivable slowdown. They shouldn't have released it. So in other words, this game just shouldn't exist, period. Because I believe the Super Nintendo version is the Super Nintendo version the most famous, biggest selling version of this game. series.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be that or the Genesis one, but it's probably not the Genesis one.
The Genesis one is better, but the Super Nintendo one is more famous, I believe. So this game
Super Graphics one is pretty good.
This game shouldn't exist. Super Graphics one rules.
Yeah.
So bottom of the list?
I don't know. What are you asking me that for? What are you asking?
I'm asking all of you.
I'd probably put it above Moon. I don't want Moon. I don't think Moon's going to wind up at the
Moon
bottom.
came out 25 years ago. It came out 25 years ago. It can take a couple of punches.
And this game is another that I'm just glad they made it. I'm glad they gave it a shot, and I think they did it right this time. And I think that's should be rewarded at least temporarily.
I was literally playing Ghouls and Ghosts on Sega Genesis like 3 days ago. And while doing so, I thought I should crack open that Resurrection again, maybe pop it up here, play it with my Xbox Elite.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to disregard that game because it to an extent it feels like just another one of those. But since it is definitely the best one of those, in my opinion, it's like I don't know. There's something to
a low bar, admittedly.
Yeah, let's have it be number 5.
Another knock against
where do you want to put it?
Is why isn't there a new Maximo game? Capcom, make a Maximo, dude. Maximo rules.
That's what everyone's been waiting
Deal with
for.
it. They have been.
All right.
I think it's just above Moon, and it's reminding me of that really strange Konami. How do you pronounce it? The Getsufu Maden or whatever.
Getsufu Maden.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like, why is
that just came
that,
out?
I can't believe that's a thing. That's
it's wild.
They've remade that game of all games, and it's on Steam Early Access by Konami. I don't understand the world that I'm in.
Meanwhile, they're just like half squatted, dripping rabbit pellets all over just every other video game they've ever made. And then, how about this? Just dripping rabbit pellets all over them. The corpse of their legacy.
Frank, you're next.
Oh, my next? All right, let's bring up that list again. Coming up next on Reverse Chronological Frank Steam Purchase History from October 3rd.
So are these all going to be Steam? Are they going to all be Steam?
They're literally all Steam. That is all I played last year. From October 3rd, 2021 is Fist Forged in Shadow Torch.
Oh, yeah.
This is really neat little... I don't know. Are we too cool to say Metroidvania? Do we have another word? Or
I don't think it's exactly a Metroidvania anyway, but
I think it's a Metroid.
It's more of a Castlevania.
Really?
It's like it's a Symphony of the Night.
Can you grind in it?
Wait, is Symphony of the Night not a Metroidvania?
Well, it's because so the reason I'm taking the Metroid out is because there's more melee than there is shooting. Shooting is rare.
I didn't know that the combat had anything to do with that classification, but all right.
It might not.
Metroidvania has grinding in it.
Okay, Fist does not.
It doesn't? Okay, then it's more of a Metroid.
It's one of the most Super Metroid ones that I've played. So I'm going to call it a Metroid. But the combat is really interesting in that it's sort of fighting game combat that encourages you to learn weird combos.
I love those.
So that's fun. The sort of slow unlocking of the world is fun. Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, I found it just kind of comforting because I always knew what to do. It's very true to its genre in that, I've played a Metroid before. I know what to do now. I know that I'm going to get like a double jump or something later, so I'm going to come back here. It's very comfortable.
Yes.
It looks great. I like that it's Chinese. And you can have it talk to you in Chinese with the English subtitles. I think that's cool.
Very good.
And really good look to it. Unreal Engine. And if you got the big boy console, another 4K, high frame rate, HDR sort of game. So that a lot of points in its favor for that reason. I really enjoyed it. And I bounced off of Metroid Dread. I forgot I played Metroid Dread. That's right.
MD!
Oh, yeah. I bounced off of Metroid Dread after maybe like an hour because I just that was the sound because I wasn't having fun. I just felt like it was very harsh to me in terms of like where I could be and if I could take my time exploring spaces and stuff like that. I understand there's literally the name Dread in that game and maybe that's on purpose.
Did you see the bizarre Nintendo Direct yesterday, which was maybe the weirdest?
We made
Nintendo
it harder
Direct
and easier.
Yeah, they made a one-hit death mode and a rookie mode.
This is ridiculous.
Okay,
So I don't know what rookie mode is, but
it doesn't solve the problem. I tell you what. So let me talk about Fist because
Forged in Shadow Torch.
Frank, I don't know that if you know this, but I I played that game and did 99% of the map.
No, I didn't. I think it's about No, I think I did 100. I did everything.
So you finished all the combo challenges, all of them? Jesus, will you come over here and do them for me?
No.
Because I just don't want to do
Absolutely
it.
not. I will never do those again.
Nice.
I can actually answer this for Frank. Frank doesn't want to come over and do the combo challenges on your filthy little loser normie video game console.
That's really what it
Get a
is.
PC. Get a PC, and he'll come over and do them on those. Right, he'll do it on that, but not on a console. Come on.
It's really tricky because there is a timing to it that they don't tell you, and you sort of
Yes.
you can stack your moves sort of, but they have to be timed right, and otherwise it just doesn't work.
Part of the problem may have been playing it on PS4, and I think there's a bit of lag to the weapon switching. I like that you can do switch between weapons mid combo, and it's really cool, but it's hard to do reliably.
You're supposed
on PS4.
to. You're supposed to. It's never an instant switch during a combo. You're supposed to essentially just put those buttons in ahead of time and then watch them happen.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be able to get through it. Yeah, because I got half through, and then when it was all right, you have to switch the things 3 times, and I was like, oh man, I'm not.
Yeah, it's really hard, but you're supposed to.
Just stack
them up. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay. Well, so I should actually talk about the things I like about this game. I think this may be a controversial statement. I think the first hour is the best paced of any sort of Vania. The pace at which it gives you things to accomplish goals with and introduces elements is so smooth, but still exciting and cool. I'm going to get to do this. It it just shows you an area you're going to have to come back to later. It gives you things before you need them and doesn't say, did you know that you can blah, blah, blah. If you figure it out, it just lets you go with it, more or less. And you get upgrades really quickly. And it's a fun world to explore. It's just really fun to move around in, just because you can dash, you can jump, you can double jump, you can air dash, and you can just really fluidly traverse this world to where going back to old sections of the map to get the last bit of the map and find a little seed in there or something is actually kind of I get to go do this rather than gotta get all the way back there. Although I did get lost one time getting the whip weapon. I missed the one path that I was supposed to go to for that. But that was the only time in the whole game that I was ever confused about where to go. And I think that's quite an achievement for one of these. I also played it with the Mandarin VO and enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Your mileage may vary on the furry characters, but the Kowloon walled city aesthetic of the backgrounds and every environment having new stuff. Every area looked cool and had things going on in it.
And it has the HDR, dude. It has the HDR colors with the neon lights. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm going to buy the PS5 version.
It doesn't have HDR if you own a real expensive fancy HDR TV and a beautiful graphics card, and you're the kind of idiot who captures footage of everything you play. So it's very sad. My life is very sad because I don't get to look at HDR in video games, and I just wish I could.
That is really sad.
It is quite tragic because it's the footage it don't look right.
This is my action game of the year.
I love this game. I genuinely I was playing it and I'm looking at the Steam forums as it's brand new and I'm playing it, and the last post was from 2 days ago, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible because this game rules, and tried to tweet about it, but everyone was on that Metroid.
Yeah,
so
it's just it's so much better than Metroid.
It really is. I'm sorry, everyone.
So much better.
You backed the wrong.
You played the wrong
space
one,
lady.
Just stop mentioning Metroid Dread. Forged in Shadow Torch has they use the word Metroidvania in their Steam listing,
as they should.
That's rough.
They gotta
real
sell
good
a
though.
game. Yeah,
game. You know what? It's a real. It's if I'm comparing all of so far we've compared all of these games to a food or a beverage. So let's do it for this one. This game is a real root beer float of a video game.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. It's
it's got your various excitements.
Ooh,
but it's also
I haven't
smooth.
had one of these like this in a while.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
What a nostalgic flavor.
Someone delivered it to you on roller skates.
It's an effortless video game for me, the player. Not necessarily for the people who made it.
Sounds like a number one to me.
It's delightful. 4K, 120 FPS. Have you ever seen that?
I
On a
have.
game, Frank?
I have. I don't know if I quite get 120 on that, but it's above 60 for sure.
I mean, all I know is it's above 60. It's good for me.
I mean, it's my number one.
Right now it's my number one also.
Oh, crike, mate.
Tim?
I mean, I wouldn't. It's not even in my top 10 of games that I played of the 82.
But you must admit, Tim, this is an insert credit game.
Then you might as well put it in there. It's okay. It's Chinese and it's from China, which is cool. And as long as we don't mention Genshin Impact, which people won't stop asking me what I think of it. What I think of it is me no care, because that's just I don't know. Am I going to play a gacha Breath of the Wild? What? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the China Hero Project. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so we get to say we got a Chinese video game on here, and it's a good one. Why play the Chinese video game that's not good?
All right, where's it at?
I don't know if Genshin Impact's not good. I don't know, man. I love dungeon encounters. You can just put it wherever you please.
All right,
wherever you
All
please.
right,
Let's put it number one for the time being.
Agreed.
We could think about it more later.
Forged in Shadow Torch, crikey. If only there were another 4-letter video game name that starts with F that we could mention on this show. I'll have to scour the internet from one. So I'm looking at my list. We're going to have to do some kind of a lightning round at the end where I get to say a sentence about all of these games, because many of these are games that I've got people nonstop messaging me on various platforms asking, did you play blank? Tell me about blank.
We should do a separate thing where we just talk about all the games we did play, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I've got all these games on here that I have
nightmare.
things to say about, but, I'm not, they don't make the list.
Can you say them in a sentence? Like, I don't think
I could.
Like,
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I could. I think we can do a
We
lightning
can do
round.
that next week if you want.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pop one out that I don't think anybody else played, but I think it fits the spirit of the way the list played out last year, which is, and it also has something to do with China. Lost Judgment. Did you play that one, Brandon?
Ooh.
So, yeah, right. I wanted to play Lost Judgment, but I only got a PS5 a week ago.
In case you didn't know, everyone, Brandon has a PS5. We get it. Quit bragging. I'm joking.
I'm in the middle of Yakuza 5, and so I want to finish Yakuza 5 before I move on to another Yakuza, so I haven't played Lost Judgment. I did play the entirety of the first Judgment, though.
Well, so the thing is, you've played all of these games. Put your bib on and play another, because you're gonna play it anyway.
I mean, I know it would be in my top 5 for sure.
So when I met and talked to Toshihiro Nagoshi last, it was at E3 2019, and I talked to him a whole lot. And I did a little stupid video for a website. I don't remember what website it was. I just did some dumb little video, and then I talked to him for a great deal of time afterward and before. Nice guy, wonderful man. I got no inclination whatsoever that he was going to leave Sega. I was in talks with him about going to visit him in Japan and talk about Yakuza games for like an on-camera interview to do this big old thing about a Yakuza game that I'm planning in my head. Of course, the coronavirus happened, so I've been unable yet to go back to Japan and do any of these interview things I've been planning. I didn't get the impression that Nagoshi was going to be leaving RGG Studio. I'm sure he was offered a monstrous offer that he just couldn't refuse, right?
Gotta be.
I was talking to him primarily about the game Judgment, the first Judgment. We were talking about TV dramas, because he was surprised that I knew anything at all about J-dramas, right? So we were talking about Takuya Kimura dramas. We were talking about Long Vacation and Hero and whatever, and all these dramas that he loved, and that's the reason why he ended up getting Takuya Kimura into the game. And he was like, I just really have this plan that we can just have so many different J-drama styles represented in video games. And I was like, yeah, dude. And I was like, you should do a GTO game. And he just laughed. And he's like, oh, I don't know about that. And I mean, I'm sure it was already in the planning phases that the sequel to Judgment is basically Takuya Kimura goes undercover as a high school teacher. And it's basically a GTO game. Is it as good as the first Judgment? Is it better than the first Judgment? Is it better than X Yakuza game? Shut up, Poindexter. We need a whole bunch of video games on this planet. You know, I cannot be stopped. My appetite cannot be satisfied until we have more types of video games. all I want is a Downton Abbey, Jane Austen kind of video game where I get to ride horses and write letters or whatever. And right now, scientists have not figured out how to do that on a AAA budget without punching and kicking, right? So we gotta like Lost Judgment and Judgment are about as close as we're getting to. I mean, it's not even prestige TV, which is what I love. It's J-drama. It's Law and Order, the video game, the movie, the video game, the video game, the movie, the video game.
Messier TV.
I mean, they really are just drilling down on that J-drama format, and I feel like I'm playing. It's like a playable Ikebukuro Westgate Park, you know. Like I'm just really loving that stuff, and I hope that wherever Nagoshi went, he's making the exact same kind of game again, just with whatever, it's like $1 billion cash injection.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take two. I'll take two of these.
I'll take 2 per year,
or 3,
and
rather.
I'll play 2 per year. Again, Yakuza and Hitman. You gotta play them all. Anybody listening to this who hasn't, if there's anybody who's listening to this who has played and like disliked a Yakuza or Hitman thing, there's like 1 million movie podcasts or whatever, man. Just go listen to one of those, is what I would say. I think this Lost Judgment is this year's Yakuza game. So
is it number one?
I mean, I got to put it up there. I would put it over Guardians of the Galaxy just because it's Sega. It's Sega and Sega Satan Shiro. Sega Satan Shiro.
Yes, indeed.
They're still there. Sega. The Sega who made Segagaga and the Sega to Sanshiro ad campaigns is still in this world.
Certainly still exists.
They still exist in this world.
Did I tell you about when I went to the office of Sega in Japan? Wow.
Yeah, good sense. It's good.
I was meeting a bunch of people along with the art director of Space Channel 5. She was sort of using me coming to town as an excuse to see all her old Sega friends, which in turn was an excuse for me to meet a bunch of venerable Sega people. And wow,
VSP.
A whole lot of those people still working there. Just like...
It's beautiful.
I would just talk to some random 50-year-old dude or lady and be like, so what stuff did you work on? And then they would just spill my childhood in front of me. Is essentially what they would do. Or not my childhood. I guess I would say my entire adolescence to early adulthood. That they just worked on everything. All those people are still hanging out. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
It was such a thing to talk to Nagoshi. I mean, I've talked to him 3 times in my life, and only once it was like, I have an appointment, and the people who set me up with the interview are like people who know and appreciate like what I personally do. So it's like I get to sit down and talk to this guy like a human. And at one point in the interview, I was like, man, you worked on goddarn Daytona, Sega Rally, F-Zero GX. I just want to let you know, man, you're like the dude who's been involved in maybe the coolest playlist of video games. And the fact that he was creative director of Sega at that time, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just think it rules, and I just love Sega, man. And he was like, oh, that's so nice, just thank you. He was just such a humble, like, cool dude. Hearing a weird guy say stuff like that. And I'm just like, that's the spirit of the Yakuza games. And they're just crammed with stuff. I'm like, how do you get these games crammed with so much stuff? Like, how is everybody just cramming all this stuff into these games? How can you possibly make games that are just this bursting with not only personality, but features?
And you know what I think part of it is? I think it's that they deliberately choose use the same location, but have it be a living city that changes with each with each game.
The Kamado show.
They reuse mechanics. They reuse the map. They reuse storyline archetypes, and all of that makes the game better, and none of that makes the game worse. So
it's like the promise of episodic games somehow, but they're all their own.
Yeah,
like movies. They're all their own full games. Yeah.
That's why everybody needs to get their magnifying glass out. You don't even need to get your magnifying glass out to enjoy Yakuza. Though if you do, you'll be rewarded. So the to complete what Nagoshi explained was how they cram it with so much stuff, was he was like, oh, it's just everybody on the team has really cool ideas, and they've all just kind of been here for a long time. So there's your your experience of going to Sega and seeing dudes who'd worked on tons of stuff. It's like, yeah, they've just all been around for a long time, and we just all...
you can probably just trust them to do it. Like, oh, you want to do that? Okay, go for it.
It totally owns, and they make stuff that's just portable into other games. So I wish Nagoshi well with whatever he's doing now.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to play 2 RGG Studios quality games every year, hopefully.
Heck yeah.
I had this great idea when I saw that Michael Mann is directing a movie called Ferrari, starring Adam Driver as Enzo Ferrari. I literally was joking with someone 2 days before I saw that I was like, man, I hope the next RGG Studios game is Outrun. It's like an RPG based on Outrun. How cool would that be? And I'm like, you can get a Hollywood star in there. Put Adam Driver. He's got the word driver in his name. And then a few days later, they announced Michael Mann's Ferrari starring Adam Driver. And I thought that was real funny. And now I've just got it stuck in my head that I want an RGG.
Yeah,
well, it's not as good as an RGG Studios Outrun RPG starring Adam Driver would be. But it is this year's big Sega. Yeah. Is it the big Sega? Or is Balan Wonderworld this year's big Sega in a dark way?
It feels somehow more Sega, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a real hair splitter here. I'm not sure which one. Is Lost Judgment the best Yakuza-related game I've ever played? Not really, no. Though again, I don't want to split hairs on it. The reason I asked Frank if all his games were Steam was I know that they refused to release the Judgment games on Steam because Kimura Takuya's agents will not let his character be in a video game that can support user-generated content. Did you know this?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's why I know Frank hasn't played this one.
Yeah, I don't even have another thing to play it on.
Somebody offers you like a free Xbox Series X. Yeah. Heck of a console. Take it.
Get up in the comments at forums@insertcredit.com if you'd like to offer Frank a free Xbox Series X.
Free. Only free. I mean, I don't know about free.
So we gotta rank it. I'm struggling with thinking of where to put. I mean, of course I didn't play it, but I know what it is.
You know you will.
Oh yeah. I mean, I owned it. I own it. I own 3 PS5 games.
What'd you get?
And I got Balan Wonderworld first.
Beat up.
Lost Judgment second, and then I got Deedlit Adventure in Wonderland, the Record of Lodoss War weirdo video game.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's good. That's pretty chill.
That's what I got.
Sounds like you got yourself a chill time ready to go there.
All right, where's this game though?
I would like to put it above B-Dub. But maybe it's funnier for it to be under B-Dub.
I'm leaning toward the funnier option here, honestly. I think
then also that would be putting it above Hitman. So should we put it under the?
That has to be your call on that one.
That Peter Jackson Return of the King, Lord of the Rings awarding the trilogy. I want to keep that notion strong. So let's put it under Hitman. Hitman is under going out. Hitman's trilogy is finished with Hitman 3. So I feel like we should let it let it breathe there.
Sounds good.
It's got that Burge Dubai in it. So I mean, come on. Can't go wrong with Burge.
Nice. Brandon, you're up next.
Okay, I'm ready to go. I got one here that I think is a lot of games came out this year, so I think being on the list at all
a whole lot,
is good. And I've got a solid contender for probably near the bottom of the list. It's a very good 6 out of 10 game that I've mentioned on this show before. It is Cruisin' Blast.
Cruisin' Blast, dude.
So Cruisin' Blast is ridiculous. It's an arcade game, literally, that got ported to the Switch. You do flips in your car, you do wheelies, you use nitrous boosts, you collect keys so that you can get new cars that don't really seem that different from each other. You ride through tracks that are like dinosaurs snapping at you and volcanoes exploding, and there's alternate paths to get, and you go over sick jumps, and it's just so... It's so stupid.
Is it still Eugene Jarvis? Is it still him?
It's still Eugene Jarvis.
Oh my god. Oh, look at that dinosaur. Yeah, sorry.
Give it up for Jarv, dude.
He just went through a donut.
Yeah, that's what you see. The title screen is like a vocal song. Let's go cruising, and then the guy says, "Oh yeah."
In other words, are you saying this is the dark Sega game of the year? We're getting even.
This looks like a Raw Thrills game. This is a Eugene Jarvis.
This is 100% Midway. This is Midway Raw Thrills.
Oh yeah, it's Midway as heck. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the box art of it. So you mentioned it earlier, and then I did buy it and play it. It owns whatever. When I saw the box art image online, the Raw Thrills logo on the box. If I can induce you all to look at the Nintendo Switch box art while I say this, the Raw Thrills logo it almost looks like it's just a tagline and a logo at the same time.
Yes,
and it's
and it also looks
wonderful.
Budget. It looks like Crave or something.
It does.
It's been 2 years now since I've been able to comfortably go to a large multiplex and watch a bad movie on purpose for fun on a weekend or on the $5 movie Tuesday night. So I do miss those arcade games. I don't ever play them, but I like looking at them. And I do recall seeing Cruisin' Blast at the AMC Empire 25 several times and seeing it and going, Cruisin' Blast, dude. And the fact that it's now on my Nintendo Switch is lovely. So
I love a game where you can unlock a helicopter, but you're still stuck on the track.
Yeah, dude. It's so stupid. It's made by a guy named Eugene Jarvis.
Yes.
Jarvis, literally Jarvis. I mean, his name has been funny since the beginning of video game history,
Look him
more
up.
or less.
He looks exactly like the Joker.
Eugene Jarvis.
I have to say something about this game. Before we started this episode, I made a list of 40 games that got exactly a score of 70 in 2021 on Metacritic, therefore being the platonic ideal of the 7 out of 10 video game that we
Are you going to say that's Cruisin' Blast, bro?
Cruisin' Blast is the 7 out of 10, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and the reason I would say that it's more of a 6 out of 10 is because it's kind of like, there's not a lot to it. It's really like there's a bunch of tracks and stuff, but it's basically on you to want to replay them and get the new cars and stuff. Like it's a small package and it's kind of loosely thrown together in here.
I have to give a little negative comment here about this game.
Let's hear it.
Which is
it about Eugene Jarvis?
No, it's that IGN.com rated it a 7.1 out of 10.
Wow.
Oops.
Wow.
They really razor's edged it there, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be
it
right on that edge of appeal. Like they wanted it to, but they didn't want it to be, they didn't want to risk it being a 69, right? So they had to go 7.1.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game that I would 100% say, Frank, if you don't have it yet, you should get it and play it for 15 minutes and be like, yeah, and then you'll be done.
on Steam.
And you'll have a great...
It will be someday, I believe.
I got a Switch.
You have a
somewhere.
Switch.
Doesn't have an R2 button anymore, but
I think this game was made with Nintendo originally in the arcades because Nintendo owns the Cruisin' license. I believe that's what's going on. So I think it may not come to anything else. I mean, it could be on the bottom. It could be somewhere else.
That's the beauty of Cruisin' Blast, right? Just put it anywhere.
That's right. Let's just put it at number 9 for now. Yeah. We can work it out later. Cruisin' Blast is happy to be here.
I think it should be above Moon, though, because because at least it came out. Well, I don't know. It also didn't come out originally.
Okay, let's have it be number 8.
It didn't come out originally in 2021.
All right.
We'll be right back after a quick break. Our apartment building has this dog now. Just barks every single time somebody walks up or down the stairs. I live in a walk-up, so that means anytime anyone needs to get to their apartment, the dog goes crazy. So after a week of this, I slipped a note under their door letting them know what's going on because they aren't here during the day. They don't know what's going on. The next morning, I find a bottle of wine and a box of earplugs and a very nice handwritten note addressed to the person who slipped the note under our door. Just a very nice apology for what was going on and that they didn't know what was happening because they were in fact out all day, and bring in a trainer if necessary. The past couple days it's been much more reasonable. Just a nice experience of talking to your neighbor rather than having to bring in whatever authority is involved. It was just a pleasant interaction, and I feel good about that and encouraged by my fellow man. I thought I'd share that story.
Well, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Were you doing a little solo monologue?
Yeah, I was doing a little solo monologue.
Nice.
It's the only time I'll get to talk during this show.
Yeah, it's sorry about that.
Welcome back to Insert Credit.
Thanks.
Frank, it's time for your
I
draft.
just ate an onion ring. I just found an onion ring upstairs and I just ate it. So
that sounds wonderful.
Thanks. Okay, back to my reverse chronological Steam purchase list. August 29th, 2021, what did Frankie buy at $59.99?
Ooh, you paid big
But
dollars.
Psychonauts 2.
Two Psych, Two Knots.
Oh,
Psychonauts 2!
2 Psych, 2 Knots. That's right.
you really got to take somebody up on these free Xbox Series X offers that are popping
Because
up.
I would have been able to play this in HDR, which for some reason it wasn't on Windows, so bottom of the list. Yeah,
Windows has weird HDR implementation, as I hear people say a lot.
I know. I don't know. What do you say about this game? It's if you like the first one, they made another one, and it's real good.
I'm detecting a pattern in the Frank Cifaldi's video games. He seems to like video games that go down easy.
Yeah.
Smooth, tasty games.
That's true.
The 2 hours I played of Psychonauts 2 were very tasty and easy to endure. There was no pain, did not feel like work. Anyway, you can continue talking. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's absolutely true, and I'm looking at the rest of the list, and the ones that I'm less interested in were less easy to go. So I think I've had a breakthrough today. Thank you, Tim.
Frank Cifaldi is a man of leisure.
Yeah.
You should get one of these shirts like I have. You should get into vintage style rayon.
Hawaiian shirt.
It's called an Aloha shirt.
Fair enough.
Just because it's made in Hawaii doesn't mean it's that's the there's a lot of shirts that are made in Hawaii.
So
That's true.
I don't know. I like both of them. I love the original Psychonauts. I think it's probably one of my favorite platform games. And 2 is, it's more of it. I think that Tim Schafer wrote the script here, and I think that guy still got it in him. I think that he excels at games about empathy, and I guess that's maybe a little bit of something here too, right? Empathy and kindness. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty funny. Also,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very funny. Yeah, they did a really good job. They did a remarkable job of making a game that really feels like it came out right after the first one, but doesn't feel old. That feels like a really hard balance to find, but they found it. And I think they took things out from the first one that don't make sense no more. And
that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it really feels like it just came out like 2 years later, but it also feels like a modern video game. So
That's a magic trick.
Yeah.
Tim Schafer, you say he's still got it. I would argue that what exactly, I've never really analyzed the work of Tim Schafer at any point, though I have enjoyed several of his games.
And to be clear, I only meant the script. Like this is a team built game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah.
It's not going to be the IGN Warren Spector says more than one people make games. Says Deus Ex creator. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that quote. So, when I say the work of Tim Schafer, I am referring to the script writing. I would say he's good at the punchy. He's a good sentence writer, right? Very good at the sentences and the lines, the quips, the exchanges. I would say that what Tim Schafer has, whether it can be truly developed or not, I don't know. Lord knows I struggle. That once you have it, you can't lose it. And playing Psychonauts 2 was very much like, oh man, he still hasn't lost it. Keeping my theory secure that once you have it, you can't lose it. He couldn't lose it if he goddarn wanted to. I dare you, Tim Schafer. Try to lose it. See if you can. I'm all for all different sorts of stories being told and in different video games. I've been playing video games in Chinese and Russian and French. And several languages this year, which is fun and challenging for a future project I'm doing. And I play a lot of games in English, and I obviously the big AAA games, a chief among them. Though it just sure is fun to, after experiencing all sorts of different definitions of good writing or great writing, to settle back home in just good old hyper polished almost to a point of obnoxiousness 1990s video game magazine headline worthy Tim Schafer writing in a video game. It's meticulous, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
It's meticulous. That's just commenting on the writing. The game goddarn sucks. I'm kidding. The game is pretty good. I haven't had time to fully blast through it, though. Someday, perhaps I will. Thank you.
Let's rank it.
Not the bottom. It's above
No.
Moon. To me, it's kind of middle of the list, but I have a hard time with. Hitman 3 just feels like it's probably a better game.
It's that Peter Jackson factor, dude.
I think I'm right between 5 and 6.
Are we cool with that?
You want to split Judgment and Hitman?
Looks like.
As I believe I intoned quite gravely, Lost Judgment is not the best Yakuza game ever made by sort of. I don't want to define how long the shot is, though. It's not certainly not the best one. So I don't mind splitting it. Psychonauts 2 is just a good old fashioned classy video game, and you can play it on Xbox Game Pass. The best deal in video games. Just
still
prowl behind every dumpster at every fast food location in your town. There may or may not be a trench-coated man selling Xboxes. Purchase one from him, and then you too can enjoy Psychonauts 2.
Give it to Frank on the Insert Credit forums.
Yeah. Play Psychonauts 2 first, and then hand it on over to Frank. This message brought to you by Game Pass.
Tim Rogers.
That's not true. It's not brought to you by Game Pass. Okay, so I'm bringing up number 4 for me here. This is my number 4.
Number 4 for you.
Number 4.
Wow, we're going to be here forever. Oh
yeah, it's going to be a few hours.
I keep trying to,
We're doing all right, Jerry. So there's a whole lot of games that I still have to bring up. And I'm just so upset that I'm like, God dang it, hold on. I'm looking down this list of 82 because I'm looking at my top 10 that I determined was my top 10. And now I'm just
has the picture shifted slightly given the way the list's been coming out?
Well, I'm just having a little bit of fun here, basically, is what it comes down to.
Fun's pretty cool.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it out. I'm gonna throw this one out. I'm gonna throw one out. Here it is. Have y'all played this game, Chicory?
Oh, it's on my list of games I should have played, but
there you go. Chicory.
Yeah.
Have you played Chicory, Frank? It's not on your list, is it?
No, absolutely not.
Are you aware? Did you play Wander Song?
No.
Oh, it sounds like Frank. You are the weakest link. I'm just kidding. That's old-fashioned reality TV. That's not reality. That was a game show. Anyway, Wander Song was a fun little platform game made by a buddy of mine, Greg Lobanov, who was long ago one of the best video ball players in the world in his day. Before Video Ball lost me all my money and kicked me to the darn curb, forcing me to humiliate myself on live streams and in front of cameras for the amusement of several hundreds of people for a living now, doomed here forever. The Greg Lobanov, great guy. He's got a little studio, and he's a buddy of mine, and he made this game Wander Song, which was great, and then he made this game Chicory, which is delicious. Are you looking at Chicory on the internet now, Frank? Are you?
I am looking at it
I was
right
looking
now.
at Wander Song, but I guess now I'm looking at Chicory.
Oh,
yeah, Chicory is bizarrely the reason I haven't tried it is as I've mentioned here on the show before, I was instrumental in the no wet sounds accessibility option of this video game because of a trailer that they showed earlier on, and I gave some advice. But because of weirdly, when I have touched a game early on, it makes me play the final thing a lot later, and so that's just what it's. But I fully intend
that
to
makes
get
sense.
in there.
You want to let it get fresh. Here's the thing that I can say about both Wander Song and Chicory without spoiling too much of anything. Chicory, you watch a trailer of it, you're gonna more or less know if you're immediately excited about playing it, and if you are, by all means, check it out. If you're not, listen as I continue what it is I'm about to say. So Chicory is a really cute looking little game where you're a little dog and you can paint stuff. Basically, that's the painting is the wet sound to which Brandon refers. So you control a paintbrush and move it around. Wander Song was a game where you are a bard and you go on an adventure to save the world and you sing. You use an analog stick sort of ring menu to pick sounds to sing as you're running and jumping. And it somehow works very well. And the same thing with Chicory. You're painting things different colors, and you're painting stuff and using your magic paintbrush. And I believe when Chicory was first announced on Twitter, there was a GIF of it, and he was calling it Draw Dog, was like its original prototype name, which Draw Dog is a pretty funny name.
It's a pretty good name also.
It's just your dog who draws. So, and just, I remember I had the same response to seeing this GIF of Proto Chicory versus seeing the GIF of Proto Wander Song, which was, I'd play this game, but I'm real glad I don't have to make it.
Yes.
Because these sorts of puzzles are like, oh, this is a tricky thing. It is we live in a tricksy era for people who are independently making small video games. And if you look at like the top 50 list on, for example, Polygon.com, where Chicory ranked in at number 2 of all the games of the year, if you look at that list, there are a lot of indie games on there now. The conversation of are indie games real video games, or whatever boring, tired trash can conversations people have had over the last 10 years or so, it's kind of largely been agreed upon that, yeah, all the games are pretty cool. Call of Duty's Call of Duty, Halo's Halo, like who knows, right? But the indie games are just, they're cramming this Polygon list. I looked at it a couple minutes ago, and I mean, Chicory was on my top 10, and I'm just saying Chicory was their number 2.
That's pretty interesting.
Incredible. But they also had Metroid Dread at number 4, which is a little weird.
Oops.
Oops. That's funny, because I didn't know that anyone else had that opinion, let alone you two. So
yeah,
I'm feeling real good today about
we could talk about that, but let's not.
I have talked to dozens of people who do not like Metroid Dread. Anyway, what I'm saying about Chicory is, so when there's an indie game, do you ever get on Twitter and just do a search for like Screenshot Saturday and hashtag Screenshot Saturday and retweet greater than 200 or whatever, and then order it by time, and then you can do all these little search tools on Twitter, and you can just see what the most recent really big indie game GIFs are, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
and I have developed a sort of a sense over the past decade or so, since we're living in the Kickstarter era now, where I see a GIF for a game on Twitter, and I see it getting traction, and I see it getting retweets, and I'm like, that looks real cool. I don't know if that's actually a video game or just a GIF of some video game art. Chicory had sort of simultaneously the opposite and the inverse thing going on, where I'm like, oh, so this GIF is just proving that they have this mechanic, and it works, and it's in there. I guess there's a real video game already that you could make with the bare minimum implementation of that. You could just you could make a whole butt video game that just uses the bare minimum of this mechanic. And then it's like, but what if the people making it are so cool that they don't do the bare minimum and they actually go ahead and just put a big old game in there? And that's what they did. So check it out, everybody. Thank you. The
thing that I appreciate about the Lobanovs is that you get video games that have unconventional verbs that perhaps shouldn't necessarily be unconventional, but it's like, stomping on a head or shooting a gun is not the main thing that you do in those. You do a different thing, and there should be all kinds of things that we can do. And it's funny and weird that's hard for us as a group, but it's great to see a game like Chicory do quite well with its paint mechanic, and
not just as a lol. This game's about painting stuff. It also,
exactly.
I mean, I hate to drag this phrase out, but it's also a real video game. It's a full video game. It's not just...
It's got pacing and stuff in it. It's not just like, here's a mechanic
Here's a funny mechanic, and we did a little bit, and you can have fun and laugh at it, and it's got a dog, haha, or whatever, right? Like, that's
it's not a toy.
Yeah,
it's a game.
Yeah, it's got all the stuff in it.
Where does it go?
Bottom of the list. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm the only one who played it.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my playlist, but
am I the only one who's played literally all of these games? What's wrong with me? I even translated one of them. So, oh no, I don't know where to put it, dude. Put it at your mom's house. Kaboom!
Oh, I've been there. You want to put it at number 8?
Number 8.
Is that too low? You want
to push Go Gob down a little bit?
Not necessarily, but I think
it's better than Go Gob, dude.
It's trying something more interesting than Ghosts and Goblins is.
Yeah, it sure is.
I'm good with that.
All right,
I'm good with number 8.
Let's do it.
I decided.
Thank you,
Brandon. You're next.
Okay, I'm gonna put Tim out of his misery and get Shin Megami Tensei 5 up there.
Yeah!
There we go.
Because he knew I was going to pick it.
Yeah, I figured you'd played that one, and you can go ahead and say what you would say, and then I can say what I would say.
You could cut the Tensei with a knife.
Nice.
Oh!
See, this is what happens when Jeffy's got bad internet. We can't hear his little zingers. Yeah, darn.
That was
Yeah, I've been making them.
he got Audacity going.
Well,
though.
we'll hear the zingers later in the final show, and everyone will be on the forums being like, "I can't believe no one reacted to Jaffe saying this funny thing."
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'm the Travis.
If we were real pros, we'd all be in the same room, I guess, but that's not going to happen.
And one of these days, once we...
somebody sent me an email the other day inviting me to be on their podcast, and they're like, we can pay your airfare to this city. I was like, what?
Oh, nice. Have them send me instead. I'll tell them to wishlist Hyper Gunsport.
No. It's not
So
about video games, unfortunately.
Oh, too bad.
So they wouldn't know they don't want to know what wishlisting a game means.
I don't know about
5.
any other things. Shin Megami Tensei 5. It certainly is the 5th Shin Megami Tensei game. That's the number one thing I'll say about it.
Very good, yes.
It's got good music. It's got an open world thing, which has its pluses and minuses. One thing that's a plus about it is the way that quests are described, I would say. Like, a mermaid is like, hey, can you save my mermaid friends because they're all having this bad time, they're under a spell, whatever. And then they tell you the location is at the top of the mountain where the water originates. And so you got to find where that is later.
Uh-huh.
You can't get there right away, but you can get there eventually. And it gives you the sense of the shape of the world a little bit through text and talking about it. And I do think that the whole text and talking about it part is the best element. Not the story, but the conversations with demons and the little interactions that you have. Those are, I think, the better story moments and experiential moments. I think that the battles are not as good as Shin Megami Tensei 4 because they are slower.
Yeah, a little slower.
And I think that visually it's maybe a little less interesting. However, great music. I love going around there, doing my thing. I wish I could play it on a system that had a controller that worked. I think that would dramatically improve my experience if I could play it on something other than the Switch, because action games on the Switch, I mean, I can buy some more controllers. We've talked about this. I probably eventually will. It sucks that like 50% of people, when I talk about this complaint, are like, you can plug your PlayStation 4 into and play that on the Switch with a dongle. And it's like, man, I don't want that to be the solution.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, you just get the Pro Control. Just get a Pro Control. Just do it.
I'll get it. But anyway, I like the game. It's not my favorite Shin Megami Tensei game, but it's my favorite Shin Megami Tensei game that is new. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they keep making them, and I think it's good. And I like jumping up to high places in there. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's a good game. That's what I think. What do you think, Tim?
So I would say Shin Megami Tensei 5 is it is a new Shin Megami Tensei game, which they don't make a whole lot of very frequently. You mentioned the open world being a little bit strange, a little bit weird, a little hokey to navigate, as it were. And I say, as a person who just played all the way through Shin Megami Tensei 1 and Shin Megami Tensei 2 within the last 6 months, that I feel like just being kind of hard to get around is a thing in that series in general, and it's true. It's beautiful and meticulous and delicious. I played 3 again this year as well. 4, unfortunately, is inaccessible on any normal video game playing device. You must play it on the 3DS, which I have trouble seeing.
They got to remaster that boy.
Somebody got really mad at me in my email inbox during the console ranking episode, mentioning that I didn't like the 3DS because it was hard for me to see, saying that was a BS complaint. And it's like, nah, man, me no see so good. I feel like I've been pretty open about this in my writing for a long time. It's getting worse. It's never going to get better. It will get worse. I'm sorry that impacts how I think about the 3DS. I would like a remaster of it. Please, Atlas, if you're listening, put it on Steam.
They really should.
And also put Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Steam as well. Maybe they have like an exclusivity with Nintendo for a little bit. There's a lot of people on the internet being like, oh, they have Shin Megami Tensei is exclusive to Nintendo and Persona's exclusive to Sony. And it's like, oh yeah, but they released Persona 4 on Steam, and Shin Megami Tensei 3 was originally on Sony. So I don't know, maybe they will release Shin Megami Tensei 5 on Steam at some point. However, I still smoked a big bowl of Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I'm a fan of the aesthetic of the graphics. I mean, I shouldn't say aesthetic.
I like the graphics.
A tricky word.
I like that they
what
made
they did with it. Yeah,
I like the kind of gender ambiguous main character. I think that's neat.
Yeah, it rules.
I like that you combine like a boy and a big tough man, and you get like an ambiguous, wafy, long-haired beast.
The main character rules, dude. I mean, I still played. I did play all of Shin Megami Tensei 4. To my credit, if that's my credit, I don't know. I mean, it's a new Shin Megami Tensei game, and they're just very good. I remember at the time it first came out, it was impossible to open my Twitter without seeing someone linking me to some mainstream publication that compared it to Persona. And being like, what do you think of this? Do you have a comment on this? And it's like, man, of course IGN needs to mention. Of course, if you're writing in a mainstream publication, I just outed the publication. Of course, if you're reviewing it for IGN, you gotta mention Persona. You got to.
Gotta relate it to things people know.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember when Shin Megami Tensei 4 came out, there were people being surprised who had played Persona 4. They were being surprised that it was so different from Persona. And it's like, yeah, they're not the same game. It's okay to compare them. They scratch completely different itches. Not everyone in the world is born with both of those itches. You know, I got both of them. I guess that's my problem, and that's why I play so many video games. Is you're looking for ones that scratch more itches at the same time. You know, you need to play Shin Megami Tensei and Persona to get the full Mega 10 experience. You know, you just have to.
Yeah, I do like the battle system in Shin Megami Tensei about 2 to 5 times as much as the battle system in Persona.
Yeah, there is just, I don't want to say frivolity to it, to the Shin Megami Tensei battles. There's this joyfulness of just kind of letting it happen, just letting the game happen in Shin Megami Tensei, just seeing how things will go as they may. It is very rigid. It is very strict. You feel like a gambler in Shin Megami Tensei. Does that make sense? You feel more like a gambler than you do in Persona, where you feel like you're
rolling the dice,
burglarizing every single hit point away from the enemies in Personas. Whereas in Shin Megami Tensei, you're at the craps table. And I love that.
And I like collecting demons.
Collecting demons is hilarious. Yes. And you can converse with them and they say funny things. Bro, is that the actual script in the game? Said so many Twitter.
One of my favorite little dumb lines was when, I neglected to get a screen grab of it. It turns out that all the demons have different, or possibly it's just a rotating group that they come from, but they have a lot of things to say when you recruit them, but you have a full team. And so I went back to this one guy, and he was like, "Oh, hey, it's the person with too many friends." And I thought that was it was a good little weird dig, because he was like, "Are you ready to take me now?" It's the guy with too many friends.
Yeah, real good.
It's a fun insult to make towards someone. So I enjoyed that. Anyway, pretty fun game.
Kind of thing a demon would insult. A very fun game. It is the Shin Megami Tensei team's last chance of getting a game in the top 5 of an insert credit game of the year list. Yes. Probably for the rest of this decade. So the question is, did they do it? did they get it in there?
I think they did.
Yeah, I would put it up there. And I also want to just say that I hope Persona 6 is you're working in an office. You're like a 23-year-old who's working in an office.
I'm tired of high school.
I mean, high school's pretty good for a video game. But what if you got office friends and they're like kind of weird?
Yeah.
And you've got a weird evil boss? I don't know. And you have to expose corporate corruption. That's just me fanficking
I'd play it.
Persona 6.
As for where to put this,
yes.
I struggle. Like I'm vacillating between number 1 and like number 5.
Oh no.
I don't know, but I don't think that the in between those is necessarily the right answer.
Dungeon Encounters is pretty fun, and it's pretty funny to put Dungeon Encounters above Shin Megami Tensei, which involved arguably several tons more work, millions more work hours.
Either way, B-Dog's still in the top 5.
Yes.
Yeah, it's still up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could put it at number 2. I could put it at number 1. See, I think the my problem is like comparing Fist and Shin Megami Tensei 5. They're so different that I don't want to compare them. They're very different kinds of games and experiences. And I feel like Fist is the smoother one, but Shin Megami Tensei is the more involved one. In this particular year, I'm more about smooth than involved, maybe.
Shoot.
So
yeah,
I like putting it above Guardians.
Yeah, I'd put it at number 2 right now, I guess.
For me. You okay with that?
We're 12 for 12 here. I've played all of these. So, go ahead, put it at number 2. That seems good.
Okay.
All right. That takes us to round 5.
Round 5?
Frank's time.
Time for Frank's reverse chronological list of games he bought on Steam in 2021.
We're getting to the point where I don't have a lot to say other than, I played that for a minute.
Wait, you didn't buy 68 games during the Steam sale?
I'm not one of them. July 31st, 2021, coming in just about a month before Psychonauts 2. Purchased at launch for $9.59.
Ooh, crike.
Final Fantasy, the Pixel remake thing.
Can we just say this? Oh, wait, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster?
Yeah. I don't know, it's 1 through 3, right? And so this was a purchase to just kind of see what these remakes were like. I was just kind of interested.
If you'd have waited a little longer, you could have gotten the Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster.
Oh, yeah. And that was the plan. I don't know that I would also do that, but I was excited to kind of... One thing that I am interested in to my core is how does one present an old game now? So I purchased this. I'm not going to say for like work reasons. It really is. It's almost a hobby for me at this point to think about how we present these old games, especially games made for CRTs. And I thought that the approach that they took with these games was actually really compelling, where they essentially redrew the pixel art to still look like pixel art, but in the instances where things sort of relied on, for example, composite color bleed, in your old CRT over your red and yellow wires. Sorry, just yellow wire, I guess, for the video. They recolored them, like they tried to sort of like incorporate that color. And honestly, I think it's a successful take on how you sort of redraw one of these old pixel games, because I am of the opinion in most cases that you were never meant to see the raw pixel data that these games are giving to you. And so I think this is a really compelling way to do it. I think it's a lot it's a lot easier and to digest than, for example, redrawing all these things in like a higher resolution. It's something that I had thought about previously, especially when I was at Digital Eclipse and we talked about sort of doing more like, okay, how do we polish these old games? I always thought the answer was just give it more colors, but the same resolution. And I think this kind of demonstrates that actually does work really well.
I played all of these remasters, the Pixel remasters far.
And I am fine, by the way, if we want to just group them all together or what, I would say lasso them all together, because I did purchase it as one package. I bought all 6 of them in the package deal. I swapped the font out for something a little bit more savory, because the font is disgusting. I didn't care about okay. My take is I didn't need the pixel font, but I needed monospaced. That was my take on it.
There is a very nice pixel font that you can put in that I believe completes the look of the game. It is important to note that it is Kazuko Shibuya, the original pixel artist of the old school Final Fantasies, who did all the character designs for the pixel remasters. So I think it's important to note that she did them all, new ones, with all that color stuff in mind. There was a Twitter thread. She had a Twitter thread about it. I mean, all that color stuff. There's obviously these big old, loud, kind of stompy, kind of conversations people have when they get mad about the way remasters and whatever look. I saw a lot of weird misdirected rage about just generally how the pixel remasters look. My least favorite thing about the pixel remasters was how some of the cutscenes are 30 FPS, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Because the game is 120, flawless 120, in the gameplay, and then just see the cutscenes.
You had to set a config, like you had to edit a config file or something to get the 120, if I remember right.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's for that reason that they had like some things that were very hard coded at an FPS, so they didn't let you unlock it.
Though you get to Final Fantasy IV, and you've got the airship starting cutscene is just going at 60, and I'm like, all right, this is chill. I think the games all look real good. The remastered soundtracks, as a person who's played all of the Final Fantasy games way too many times each, and I very recently played all the way through Final Fantasy IV on Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, PlayStation, Game Boy Advance. You got a Mr. Frank.
Yeah.
You ever play the Game Boy Advance games with that LCD filter on, dude?
I have not gotten to that now.
Check it out, dude. It's so good. I was unable to enjoy so many Game Boy Advance games because I had an eyeball problem and it's an unlit screen, and I'm playing Harmony of Dissonance over here lately, and just I'm just losing my mind at how good Harmony of Dissonance looks. I just posted 2 pics in the chat, screenshot or the photographs of my television. Just zoom into those and feast your eyes on that. Anyway, so I did recently replay the much ballyhooed Final Fantasy IV Advance remake, which has a couple of battle logic problems in it. All I'm saying is these pixel remasters are just a beautiful way to play these games if you've never played them before, and they do feel sufficiently old. Right? Because if you don't want to play brand new video games, if you're playing these, where you can find brand new ones that are flopping out all over the street. There's just games all over the floor anywhere you go these days. So if you're playing these, you're in the mood to play an old video game, and they feel sufficiently, deliciously, meticulously old for my tastes. And I just think the graphics are wonderful. Jaffe was over here. We played a little bit of 4.
Yeah, we had a good time.
The 4 remaster. I had a good time with that. I'd put them on this list.
Great.
What do you think of those screenshots of Harmony of Dissonance?
I think you got to turn your saturation
Looks pretty
down.
good.
They're very nice.
Well, no, I think it's
okay.
the camera, but because I got some weird. But if you look at it, it still looks pretty sweet.
And there's similar filters on the analog pocket dock, so that's kind of what I'm used to, and I'm experiencing that as well. Is all I'm saying.
I ain't got no analog pocket.
Basically,
dock.
do with the Mister, unless you want to play in handheld mode, which I often do. Okay, so on this list, I don't know, it's pretty far down for me.
Yeah.
It's somewhere hovering around Ghosts and Goblins.
I would put it above Ghost and Goblins, but that's just me. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection is a new game, though.
Yeah.
Whereas these games are, again, they are unabashedly old, and they do come with a bad font.
But are we judging these games based purely on game or idea? You know what I mean? Because I didn't buy this as a game to like enjoy as a game.
Yeah, I think we're talking about idea, but also Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection has some pretty good ideas in terms of dealing with an old... So we do have all the old remixes down here at the bottom.
Yeah, like
one of the things I like about the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, maybe you noticed this, Frank, is when you click on play, if you've got a solid state drive, it's open in like
the frame before you click, it's just open.
Yeah, and it is just on the title screen. It's like, I think it's like literally 2 frames before it opens for me, which I don't understand. And then there's you're just right on the title screen, and you're right in the game. And before you know it, you're already beating the Marsh Cave with your party of 4 monks. I beat the whole game with 4 monks, Frank. The whole game. Because there's something wrong with me. And the auto battle is very nice.
It really is, yeah.
It goes real fast.
And you can make stuff go fast, which is great.
Personally, I'd put it number 11 myself.
All right.
Above Cruisin'.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather play Cruisin' right now, but I'll put it above Cruisin'.
Final Fantasy 1 through 5 Pixel Remaster.
Brandon is apparently just flat out outing himself as having not listened to the sweet remastered soundtracks. But that's
okay. That is
okay.
true, actually.
The soundtracks are good, man. I feel like I forgot to mention that. The Pixel Remaster soundtracks are incredible.
No, you mentioned it.
Can confirm.
Well, I feel like I actually now I feel like I didn't mention it. The music's fantastic. That's my third mention.
These Pixel remasters, it's like they actually got the people who made the TV show to do the Blu-ray master. Which never happens. So I think that's cool.
I saw too much hate about the Pixel remasters. I'm just calling them the Pixel remasters on the internet from people who. Like, there were a lot of people being like, why can't they just do the HD 2D, which is now have they trademarked this phrase, HD 2D, which is what Octopath Traveler Triangle Strategy, the new Live Alive, the Dragon Quest III remake. They all do that weird tilt-shifted, strange... that I feel like people were en masse disappointed that Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters didn't look like that. It's like, that's a large team effort. And also, that ain't what I want. I mean, I'd play it because I'm an idiot, but it's not exactly what I wanted, you know? I love them. I love those Pixel Remasters.
All right.
I will
Great addition, Frank. I'm happy to have this on the list, and I don't think it would have gotten here if you weren't here. Tim.
Yeah.
Your turn, Tim.
Well, it's my turn then, Jetty.
Bring it on up.
This is my round number 5, right? Pick number 5?
Yep.
So we only have, I got 5, 6, and 7. I already know what my last one is going to be. I believe we've mentioned it before the show. I told everyone what my final pick was going to be, my number 1.
I haven't been going in like order of thing that I like the most, so.
I mean, I just, I'm keeping my number 1 game for last because I just don't really want to talk about it because I love it. Because I love it. I'm just looking at, my list. And you know what I'm thinking? Thinking a lot of really good video games came out this year. Good ones, tasty ones, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a next one to bring up right here.
Yeah. What'd you do?
It would probably be, I don't know. I can't pick one.
We were so close, I thought.
It would probably be, and then it's just so many games, and I didn't really, I didn't. I thought
you had a top 10.
Well, I did. I've already kind of flopped out most of them. I mean, top 10, yeah. I've already kind of flopped a bunch of them out. There's
10.
a game I don't want to mention because a guy who was really creepy kept asking me what I thought about it.
Was it the creator of the game?
I guess we'll see if I bring it up.
No. He sent me like a lot of DMs on every platform. Just wondering if you've seen this. I just really need to know what you think about this game because I haven't heard you mention it.
Please, I must know what you think. Oh my god.
So if that's you, I loved it. Okay.
Can I make one guess? And if I'm right, you can bleep it out.
Yeah, go for it. What is it?
Was it Deltarune Chapter 2?
No! I haven't played that one.
Oh,
I haven't played that one.
I haven't either.
Maybe I should before it Kentucky Route Zeroes itself.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I forgot it came out.
Where there's like the whole game is out, and I'm just like, instead of waiting for the whole thing to be out, maybe I should be playing them as they're released, right? Probably should.
I think you should, yeah.
Maybe I'll sit down, smoke a bowl of Cheerios.
I mean, that's my game of the year.
But in the meantime,
I probably should bring up another video game then, shouldn't I?
That's what I think.
It's just, I'm looking at this list the way it is right now, and I'm just...
adjusting.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm adjusting because it's like I'm trying to make the list more fun, you know? Yeah.
I'm liking the list so far, fun-wise.
Yeah.
So like, there's a game that's in my top 10, and it is there. It is in the top 10, so... a couple of the games that were in my top 10 have already been mentioned by other people and therefore been pushed out. I had Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster in my top 10. I'm looking at like the next game, my number 10, and I'm just like, I don't want to put this game in the list anymore. I just don't want to. I'm like, you know what? Let's the boat has sailed for that one. God, it's so hard.
A lot of games out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to pick just like one of these. Because I mean, I don't know if Brandon's going to pick any of these.
Toward the end of my list, there is a declining likelihood of your picking them, I think.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting way to put it. Because I don't want to like just start saying the names of these games out loud, lest I conjure individuals. Yeah. Lest I conjure individuals wishing to hear more. I just can't. I mean, I've got 2 that I want to talk about.
Well, you could just you got 3 left, so.
Yeah, I want to save them for last, and it's like this blank here, I just don't know.
Oh, I see.
I just don't know.
There's a game you talked about at the beginning of the year that I played off your recommendation, and I'm wondering if that's on the list.
Throw it in the chat and I'll tell you. I'll tell you right god darn now. I'm looking at that Cruisin' Blast list, Raw Thrills. No, I wouldn't put that game on this list. Now the viewers or the listener is invited to guess what the game was, but we will never tell. We will never tell. Ah, man.
You just gotta choose one, man. Pull the trigger.
Man, okay. So, I've got like this isn't a three-way tie. It's not a three-way tie. I'm going to present it as a three-way tie, and then I'm going to pick one of them. Okay? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8, and tied a three-way tie with Tales of Arise, three-way tied with Scarlet Nexus. These are three enormously, egregiously, gregariously, luxuriously cram-packed Japanese video games of the old style.
Certainly.
Of the PlayStation 2, GameCube, just crammed as absolutely full of the old-fashioned trash that I love, but they're done with AAA budgets and beautiful graphics, extremely high frame weights.
Tim, I don't know if this will help you, but two of those are on my I was supposed to play this year list, and one was not. I don't know if you want to choose the one that wasn't, or one of the two that were.
One of the two that were, or the one that wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, this is like a fun guess. So let me just explain why I grouped these three games together. Is because I didn't beat any of them, okay? But I did play each one for. I played Resident Evil Village for 2 hours. I played Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise for 4 hours each. In case you're unfamiliar, dear listener, Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise are two video games, both made by Namco, both made by their Tales studio, sort of. The Scarlet Nexus has Tales studio people on it, and has former Tales directors directing it, and it has, I believe, they've hired new talent in to make Scarlet Nexus. They released two huge, full-scale, monstrously AAA RPGs.
Just right on top of each other.
Within 2 months of each other. And that's why I didn't beat either of them. Because I love both of them so much. But they're so different. I mean, they're both anime RPGs, right? They're both anime RPGs. And they're
that's
wild
sure.
and weird and dense and just cram-packed with all sorts of stuff. Scarlet Nexus has this ridiculous action combat system that kind of makes me feel a little bit more excited about I often talk about how I like the Final Fantasy VII Remake does this light action combat where it's an action game, but it is an RPG. So the action game is sort of ethereal, you know? But it does have all this Devil May Cry-ish character action mechanics kind of grafted seamlessly in there to the RPG stuff. Scarlet Nexus kind of pulls that in another direction, which I find very compelling. Meanwhile, Tales of Arise has these story hooks, like your main guy has a big old metal mask that he's wearing. The main character he's a prisoner. You're in a prison, and the mask gets cracked like 4 hours into the game, and you can see part of his face. And it's supposedly like 10 or so hours until the whole mask comes off. I love stuff like that. My favorite Tales game is Tales of Rebirth on the PlayStation 2. In case y'all haven't played that one. It's real good. I've played most of those games. Whereas Resident Evil Village, I didn't play all the way through because I decided to play every Resident Evil game in order. And I've been chomping my way through them.
The numbered ones or all of them?
The numbered ones. The numbered ones and like Code Veronica, like including stuff like Code Veronica. And then I because I really want to play
mainline console, I guess.
I really want to play the 2 and 3 remakes.
Those are pretty cool.
And I've got that 4 HD remaster, the 4 HD that just came out. I saw Frank tweet about that. I got all those, and it's like I stopped playing 8 because I hadn't played 7. And I bought them both on Steam on the same day. Steam sale, dude.
You want to know which one I didn't choose?
Which one didn't you choose?
Or do you want to guess?
I'm sure you didn't choose Tales of Arise. Is that the one?
It actually wasn't. It was Scarlet Nexus.
Oh, really? Have you seen Scarlet Nexus, though? Because that's definitely the more...
I have, but I was thinking that it was the likelihood of the action bit putting me off was higher.
It's light enough, Jerry.
Well, anyway, that's it. Not for any particular huge reason, but when they put out those two things so close together, I was like, well, I'm probably just going to choose one of these.
Yeah, you choose one, and then I think a lot of people chose one and then played neither.
Yeah.
So, I want to say Scarlet Nexus. I just want to support this weird...
Yeah, I thought that might be the way it would
because, you know what it reminded me of? Did you play Astral Chain on the Switch?
I didn't, and you know why? It's because I didn't have a controller that worked.
Controller for action games. Okay, interesting.
I own it. I bought it, but I I wanted to play it with a working controller.
So Astral Chain is like a real 1990s anime feeling video game. It's got that sweet art. And Scarlet Nexus also feels kind of like a 90s anime set in like sort of a real world. I mean, it has a little bit more recent anime stylistics to it, character design wise and such. They modernized it a bit. It's just Scarlet Nexus. I'm gonna say it's Scarlet Nexus. We'll put Scarlet Nexus in there.
All right.
Yeah. So now I know that when I do decide
and now
to play
the
it,
timer starts.
I mean, the reason I bring up the Resident Evil thing so strongly is I played a little bit of that Resident Evil 2. So it started with a little bit of that Resident Evil 3 remake. Resident Evil 3 is my favorite Resident Evil. Played a little bit of that remake, and I'm like, this rules. And then I'm like, I didn't play that 2 remake, which I'd also bought in the Steam sale. Played a little bit of the 2 remake, and I was like, this...
I think that one's even better.
I was like, this owns. And then I played a little bit of that 8, and I'm like, oh my God, they're so honest.
They know what they're doing.
They're so straightforward. They're like, let's just make a good video game, everybody. Like, all right, let's do it. And then it's just a bunch of grizzled professional veterans. This is my impression of it. If they're younger people, then I apologize to them. It's just, that's why I ended up not playing more of Village, because I was just like doing a little taster's choice, you know? And then I was like, well, I just need to sit down and enjoy the whole series. But Scarlet Nexus, I'm like, that's the one I'm probably going to blast through when I get a free couple of days to play a video game in the near future. And I love the world building stuff. And it's just, I feel like I didn't praise Astral Chain enough. So karmically, I am elevating Scarlet Nexus into the whatever. And also, please release Astral Chain on PC. Nintendo, just let them do it. You let Square Enix release Bravely Default 2 on Steam. Let Platinum release Astral Chain on Steam. Thank you.
Where do we place it?
I don't know. At your mom's house. Oh!
Nice!
Bingo! At your mom's house?
I feel like I should mention my mom does listen to the show, so I apologize for Tim's comment.
I'm saying she could play Scarlet Nexus.
She could
might
play
like
the
it.
game. There's nothing insulting about it.
We'll have a copy delivered to your mom's house. We'll do it.
Yeah, all right. Mom, play Scarlet Nexus. You might like it.
Yeah, I mean,
give it a shot.
It's got two. You can choose your hero at the beginning of the game. You choose which character.
How much is it like Tetris?
I love games that put a meaningful choice right up front, kind of like the original Resident Evil does.
So, where you want it?
I don't know. I don't know. Above Moon Remix RPG Adventure, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I didn't. I played roughly according to howlongtobeat.com, I played 1/7 of the game. So the question is, do I enjoy my memories of Final Fantasy more than the future of playing another game? I would put it under the Pixel Remaster, but above Cruise and Blast, in my opinion.
Right.
It's fine with me.
Because I mean, even though Eugene Jarvis did work on Cruise and Blast, you gotta respect it.
I got nothing to add to that, so
you can just continue then, everyone. I'm sorry.
Incidentally, Scarlet Nexus is the name of my Black Widow fan site.
Oh, very good.
All right, Brandon, round 5.
Yeah, man, it's I guess I gotta put this one. I don't know why I'm a little like nervous or embarrassed or trepidatious about putting this one on here, because compared to everything else I've been putting on the list, it's like it's a little out of character for me, and it's a little regular.
Oh, let's do it.
And it's a little like indie zeitgeist. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put Loop Hero on here.
Oh, Loop Hero.
Because man, I did a lot of loops on that hero, and I played it for about 18-20 hours. I think that it's a smartly designed. It's one of those kinds of games that I feel a little jealous of the design of it. And then as soon as it was created, I felt like it was instantly absorbed into my idea of what you could do in a video game. Because I've always liked passive games and clicker type games, but they take up too much of your time. They're too time wasty. And I think that Loop Hero, for those who haven't played it, it's a game where you just go around a track basically as a little hero, and you defeat monsters. And it's roguelike-y in that you can stop and start moves when you do sort of thing, and all you really do is decide when to stop and start, what items to equip, and that's more. And I guess you get a couple of buffs that you can choose, but you're basically just going around the map, looking at what numbers are higher than other numbers, and figuring out: do I want to be regenerating health when I attack? Do I want to regenerate attack I mean, health just by walking around? Do I want to prioritize defense? And then you got different character classes that can do different stuff. And all the while, there's a very light story, which I also respect, that allows you to build up a town that confers additional benefits, and you can do more loops at higher levels and beat badder baddies. And and you're also essentially placing all the enemies yourself. You're placing all the other buffs around the world yourself. And so there's just a bunch of little micro choices to make. I also think that it does a very successful job of achieving a certain visual and sonic aesthetic that makes it feel of a certain vintage without trying to be nostalgic or retro or whatever. They just have limited colors. They have bit crushed sounding music, but it doesn't feel like they're trying to be like, remember the Amiga or whatever, even though it is kind of Amiga looking.
I remember
If you do a funny voice while saying remember the Amiga, it's supposed to be British, but anyway, go on.
Yeah, I should have. Remember the Amiga?
Gov.
I just think it's good, and I don't know why I was embarrassed to talk about it. It feels like such a obvious choice for 2021 because all the indie devs were like, here's this game, it's great. And I was like, I don't know. And then I played it and I was like, oh, I just very quietly by myself played it for almost 20 hours.
Well, I'm telling you something that I feel about Loop Hero is talking about dinner time video games, dude. Dinner time games. It's
100%.
It's getting there.
I did play it during dinner.
Did play it during dinner. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Quite a few times.
Telling you, anyone listening to this, for God's sake, please, if you can hear this, we need dinner time games.
Yeah.
Like video games to play while eating food. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a real smart game. There's so few inputs required of you.
I ate snacks.
I care about what's happening on the screen, even though I don't have to hit buttons a lot.
Wind it up and watch it go.
Yeah. I could summon little skeletons to fight with me.
There's no reason we can't apply the Angry Birds formula to a whole bunch of other stuff, which is just, choose an angle and watch what happens, you know? So let me let's do another one. Throw in a ball of paper at the wastebasket. Did it go in? Who cares? Here, let's throw another one. I don't know, man. Yeah. But it's also a cool little game. CLG.
Since you keep all the loot, if you retreat by yourself and half of it when you die, you're always building something up even when you die, and it doesn't really matter. And so you can try again. You still want to win, but if you die, it's like, I'll just do it again. It's good. Frank, you didn't get to play this one?
Nope.
I think you might find it interesting a little bit. I think it's a small number, bite-sized RPG. I mean, the numbers aren't that small, but they're perceivable numbers, I would say.
Yeah, but the remake of Power Slave came out today.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Hubba.
I don't want to die. I'm a god. Why can't I live on? That's Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Anyway, in here on this list, where would I personally put it? I'd put it
at your mom's house.
At my mom's house.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't think she'd like it very much, to be honest.
Well, that's weird.
Probably wouldn't be to her taste because too much fighting. Number 10, number 6.
Number 30.
That's quite a discrepancy.
Number 10, number 6. I'm always either 1 or 1.5 below it.
1 or 1.5. Well, you said number 6.
I mean, either a specific number or a specific number that's 5 numbers below that. Yeah, I'd say no number 6 or number 11. Or 10. No, sorry, 10. 10 above Ghosts and Goblins.
I think 10 is good. Chicory.
Yeah.
I think you gotta let Chicory keep riding that.
Okay, let's do it. Number 10.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
So
round 6
on May 30th, 2021, at full price, $59.99.
Ooh,
this is
Frank rolled out the big dollars.
I don't think this should count, but I had exactly 7. I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I don't know if this counts as a new game, but it did come out last year. It's the Legendary Edition. I don't know. I think they just improved some stuff to make it run on modern things, but I bought it.
Graphics are good.
Yeah, the graphics are good. I bought it because at the time, just losing myself in a way too long RPG sounded pretty good. I was also interested because I had only played the first Mass Effect, and I had played it when it came out, and I didn't like it. But something in the back of my head was maybe there was something there. So I got it again, I guess.
Was there something there?
it had the good graphics. It had the 120 frames a second. I think it even had the HDR. I played the first one for maybe about 20 hours.
Yeah.
I really dislike that game.
Oh, it is like chewing on a beach towel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
It is not. I bought the Legendary Edition as well.
I've only talked about the first game so far, but go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say I bought it mainly because I'm interested in the various ways to answer the question: how do we present an old game in modern times? Yeah, but anyway, continue. You were going to talk about Mass Effect 2.
You just press the game. Mass Effect 2. I bounced off of, like, I was really trying to get through 1 because it wasn't just like how do we represent games, and it also wasn't I just want to lose myself in a long game. I was really compelled by the idea of following my character through these 3 long things, and I feel like a lot of people experience things that I didn't, and I don't think you two experienced that either, right?
No, I couldn't finish any of them.
The first one was like chewing on a beach towel. I enjoyed what I played of the second one, but did not ever beat it.
Like, I was really trying to get through 1 to like get through the gimmick because I thought it was a neat idea, but I just couldn't play 1 anymore. And then I went to 2, and I did actually enjoy the like maybe 4 hours I played of 2. So you do some like shooting missions, and suddenly shooting's like fun, which it wasn't in the first one. And a proximity to fun, right? Like it's getting there.
Yeah, fun adjacent.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun adjacent shooting, and but very quickly it spits me into a giant space mall where there's a bunch of characters with dumb problems that I can help them solve.
Well documented as my favorite part of the entire series.
Yeah. And
I understand most people don't like it.
It's the best part. A genuinely...
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, I actually think that part's cool.
A genuinely funny conceit. I don't know if you both remember of getting the discounts in all the shops by...
by saying it's your favorite shop at the store, yeah.
I like that. It's about as far as I got. I didn't really want to go back into space. I want to just hang out in the mall some more with these weird aliens. So
totally.
Yeah, I love them all.
I'd like to say something about Mass Effect 2. As you said, the big appeal of the Mass Effect series is the idea that your decisions from one game transfer over to the second.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting choice how if you start from 2 without playing 1, it gives you this set of decisions that no human possibly could have made. Just like assuming you made all of these contradictory choices in the first game. Like a way that makes absolutely no one happy unless you played the first game.
It's weird. It's like a Poindexter calling you a Poindexter.
Yes.
How dare you not have played the first game in this series? You loser. It's like calling you a loser. It's like being called an underachiever by Mass Effect, which is basically Mass Effect is the president of the school like science club of video games. I really want to play through all 3 of them, and that's why I bought the collection, because I think it would behoove me to. My character who I made in Mass Effect 1 long ago was named Honda Shepard, which was, I think, a pretty cool name. So if you want to have a really good time, name your character Honda. She was cool. Honda Shepard. It's so fun to see people talk about which voice actors they like from Mass Effect when it's like these people are just reading like the driest script I've ever seen in my life. It's so incredible. It's like, how can you prefer any of these actors? It's like an AI wrote it.
And you were going to get to 3, Frank?
I decided that the end of my journey was in the space mall because it wasn't going to get any better than that.
That makes sense.
I need to know why gamers got so mad at the original end of 3. And I don't want to spoil it for myself, so I have to play it.
I really wanted to do that also, Tim, but it's just so many hours left in my life.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to play them, I guess.
There is kind of a DLC coda to Mass Effect 3 that takes you back to the Space Mall, and everybody likes that.
Oh, the coda, the Space Mall.
Yeah.
I like it. I like going to the Alan Edmonds shoes. What else is there? There's an Urban Outfitters. That's my joke about the Space Mall. Except it's called Splurban Outfitters because it's space. Space Urban Outfitters.
So I want to put this at the bottom.
Yeah, let's slap it down there.
Like Moon, it's an old game, but Moon at least had like a new translation.
Yeah.
So Tim, it's your turn. What do you got?
My next game, that I would actually argue. So the game I'm going to present as the #1 best game of the year, is a game that I'm a weirdo
Wait, you got two more,
this
though.
is your round
no,
6.
No, this is what I'm saying. That
Okay.
the game I'm going to present as my game of the year is a game that is just I'm a weirdo, and I'm just going to encourage everyone to play it and enjoy it, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. Though I do want to talk a little bit about this next game. During this episode, I've talked about the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, sweeping the Academy Awards. As why I said Hitman 3 deserves to be on there, and I think I was ruminating on that notion while preparing for this episode of this podcast today, and I thought no better game deserves the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, sweeping of the awards than this next one that I'm about to present, which I noticed did not place anywhere near the top on any games of the years of all of the websites that I looked over, and it's not the sort of game that we ever really broed down about on any episodes of Insert Credit. In fact, it's a video game of a genre the likes of which I usually summarily rejected. I usually would say, that's not the kind of game for me, and I had a bucket of excuses I drew from. However, recently, I have poured about 90-some hours of my life into this game, and it is clearly, despite maybe some user interfacial optometric difficulties, and it is a bit migrainulous at times, though when it comes right down to the story aspect, and when it comes right down to the having a good time with your buddies aspect, I do believe, even when it comes right down to this is an entry in one of my all-time favorite video game series of all time, when it comes down to that aspect, how does it hold up against all of these titans that I have loved forever? It still stands up, and it's like, yeah, this is definitely one of the best video games ever made, and I think it should be our number one, even though it's not my number one, and I know neither of you have played it, and that's Final Fantasy XIV, baby.
I could tell that's where it was going.
I haven't even gotten into Endwalker. I haven't gotten, I'm not really sure. I'm not too sure how near Endwalker I am, and I don't god-darn care, because I'm having a real good time, and the story stuff is real good, and playing it with your buddies is real good, and all the game design stuff is integrated real good, and it looks good, 4K 120, dude, on my PC, and you want to talk about just painless, goes down easy, smooth video game, just do some quests, smoke some monsters. The story stuff is so good. Even in the beginning portion that people had warned me about. So I didn't even get anywhere near the expansion that came out this year that caused an embarrassment of success to clog the video game. Like you couldn't even get in there. They would not allow new users, period, into the game for a while, right? They just wouldn't allow new users. You could not create a character like, sorry, we're not accepting new players right now. It's like, how often does that happen in a video game, especially a 10-year-old video game? And I know It was remade 3 years after it first came out. That alone is pretty hilarious. And the fact that I have summarily rejected MMOs for so long, and the usual quippy, snippy explanation I had was that MMOs are... I feel like I would play it too much. I would get too addicted to it or whatever. And it's like, I mean, I guess I can still see that. But also, it just rules, dude. And that's plain and simple. And I'm excited for all the Final Fantasy IV references I've been perceiving as the game kind of arrives as like the final expansion is like a Final Fantasy IV themed Final Fantasy IV 30th anniversary. And then it's Final Fantasy XIV. It's 10 Final Fantasies after Final Fantasy IV. I got my biggest diaper out of the bottom drawer of my dresser, and I am just the New Year's baby with it.
Is this a nomination for 14 as a whole or 14 Endwalker?
Well, I mean, supposedly we would say 14 Endwalker.
Yeah, because that's the 2021 one.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't touched it yet, but if you argue that an MMO is its players, right, and I'm in there in this world made of people,
I feel like you could nominate Final Fantasy XIV.
I think it's interesting. The main reason I wouldn't play it is similarly. I feel like I would get to where I get with some phone games where I'm just kind of stuck on it. Yeah. But I would also be at my computer, which keeps me away from doing it. It also well documented on this show that Final Fantasy XIV is the game that killed my my AA, AAA dreams. Because,
get out,
Jerry. My game got canceled.
This is a redemption arc for you as well. Can you forgive? is the question.
Yeah, it is the question, and I've continued to wonder that. I do understand that it is very good.
I think you'd like it. You can make some chill looking characters, dude.
Our very own Ash Parrish really likes it. When I saw that they put that pizza emote thing to order
the Pizza Hut pizza, yeah, dude.
I was like, that campaign is 100% going to work. Like that that's gonna do exactly
all of
it. And then
it's
like as soon as it was available, I saw all these people showing gifs of their funny characters dressed in resplendent finery eating pizza.
You can make your J-pop looking character. You can make your black metal looking character. You can go any which way you want, and you just walk around town, and it's fun to just look at people. To just go into first person mode and just like ogle some people's cool armor or whatever. It hasn't gotten old yet.
My query this would be, you haven't gotten to Endwalker yet, but I think Endwalker is specifically the part that would be the 2021 list. And so so that makes ranking a little difficult.
I haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole yet, but I know I will be there. I
believe that it would be. It's just like, because with an MMO, then it could be, like, if an MMO is good, it can be number one on the list every year in a row.
Yeah, but this is the last expansion. This is it. Right. It has no more chances to ever be on this list.
Yeah, I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the list. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know, in terms of number one, you haven't gotten to play the 2021 part yet, though we do. I think we would all probably agree that it's gonna be good.
That's what makes it the ultimate weird good choice.
It's a weird choice.
It makes it the ultimate good choice.
But I struggle with where to put it on the list as a result of that, because none of us have played the 2021 part. Jaffe, have you played that?
No.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't have to.
I fully understand that.
I'm like Neo dodging bullets, dude.
I get it.
I don't have to. A
lot of times these days, having played a few thousand video games in my life, about the first hour and a half, it's like, unless they're really going to surprise me with something, I know what's going on here.
I mean, I'm not talking about no hour and a half. I'm talking about plunking in close to 100 at this point.
The analogy holds in general that, like, these days, we can get to the goods pretty early.
That's true. That's true.
In terms of knowing what we feel. That's all I meant.
Yeah.
It was more reinforcing your point than negating it.
Yeah.
But in terms of where to put it, I still don't know.
It'd be hilarious to put it below the Pixel remasters, but I don't think that.
It's got to be above the Pix. The Pix mast.
Yeah.
I think if we can have it in the top 10, I would smoke that bowl.
That's cool. I don't want to knock Balan Wonderworld out of top 5, but we could make that happen another way if you want. I
am. What I will say is that of all of the games that I have not played, which is 2/3 of them, I am the most interested in
Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. Playing a big AAA video game these days for a normal person, and I know that's not necessarily our target audience or necessarily anybody on this podcast, for playing a video game as a normal person it requires you to like pick your game, Like people like, I play Call of Duty, I play Halo, I play whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
like people ask like, what do you play? Is like a question that people actually, yeah.
Like a dude came into my house to install blinds. He sees my PC, he goes, "Oh, neat, dude, a nice PC, dude. What do you play?" And I was like, "Oh," and just like immediately, just like 800 games cramming into my head. And I told him, "I've been playing Cyberpunk lately," and it's like, I guess that is true, but why? Though, in a heartbeat. In a New York minute, if you keyhold the handcuffs that connect me to my current profession and freed me from whatever nonsense it is to which I must daily subject myself, in a heartbeat, in a New York minute, my game would be Final Fantasy 14. Like, I'd go, that's my game. Aww. That's my game.
I'm okay with anything that's not number 1 or 2 and doesn't knock Balan Wonderworld out of the top 5.
I don't think it's top 5.
Oh,
number 6.
I mean, again, the Peter Jackson initiative, I would say put it right up above Hitman then.
Above Hitman. I like that.
It's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep BBW up there. Okay. Well, it's my turn, it turns out.
Oh, kick it.
I got 2 left, and it is getting harder to decide what I want to put in here. It's basic, but I gotta put in Astrobot.
Astrobot for PS5?
For PS5.
That came out in 2020, dude.
Oh, shoot. Okay, good.
Good. I mean, the PS5 didn't really exist in 2020.
No, you're right. You're right.
So it makes sense that you didn't play it at that time.
It's okay, I got more. But yeah, that Astrobot, man, what a cute little friend.
There will be footage of Astrobot in the next video I release for a reason that I will keep secret.
Oh, you mean Astro's Playroom?
We don't have to talk about it too much, but I had a delightful time playing that and just going through, and it's like, yeah, Frank, if you want to play a nice little 3D platformer, come on over to my house and play Astrobot.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Brandon, you have a 4K television, right?
Yeah, I got one of them.
Okay, so if you wanted to spend $60 on what for you a plebeian non-PC owner would appreciate is probably the greatest looking thing you'll ever see in video games, that's available for you right now. Check out that Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah,
that also came out this year, and it's not on my top 10. It was okay.
Our good friend Uncle Sony is gonna send me a copy of that pretty soon. I'm sure.
Man, just give it like an hour or two, and then you can chuck it in the bin afterward. If you're not 100% connected, it is fun though. I played all the way through it. That is a good looking video game that is as delightful as Astrobot.
Better put a new one in here, and I'm just gonna
slot a new one in the chamber.
Gonna get insert credit and put in Eschatos.
Eschatos, dude.
Yeah. Eschatos being a vertically scrolling shooter, published by Cute Corporation, and the package comes with Judgment Silversword and Crimson thingy. I forget what that one's called, but it's just proto Judgment Silversword as far as I'm concerned. But you get Eschatos, which has fantastic music. It's a good shooter. It has some similarities to Mars Matrix in that you unlock additional like continues and whatnot as you go along. In Mars Matrix, you buy them with gold that you've collected, which is a little cooler. But in Eschatos, you still have a little bit of that. The backgrounds are a little basic, but the music is ripping, and the fact that you can get Judgment Silversword, which is just way too expensive otherwise, on there. And Judgment Silversword is a great game. It doesn't factor in too much because it's old.
I was playing Judgment Silversword literally yesterday. Have you heard of this device called the Mister? Have you heard of this thing?
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Check it out on the Mister. Beautiful with the LCD screen filter. Anyway,
what system did the Eschatos come out for in 2021?
Switch?
No, that was 2022, January 13th.
Son of a heck.
Wait, did you get the Japanese version, which came out in November?
Yeah. Let's just see.
Oh no! Uh-oh. Has Brandon pulled 2 dud cards in a row? Is there something else GG Alesta like you can pull out here?
I might have done wrecked it.
Did they patch the GG Alesta collection at some point that you can call that another game? I remember.
Yeah, it looks like I ruined it. So,
looks like you're gonna have to just say Eastward then. That's a joke.
No, I'm not going to say. Man, Eastward is the first game I ever stopped playing because of the story. Okay.
I'm not going to comment any more than that about Eastward, everybody.
I have more games. Okay, well, here's a weird one then.
Oh, kill me.
It's not weird for a regular list, but it's weird for this list. Call of Duty Vanguard.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
So, specifically, the single-player campaign, and here's why.
Oh, yeah. Weird game.
September 16th, 2021. Third time's the charm.
Yeah, I knew that one was 2021. So Call of Duty Vanguard, it's a first-person shooter. It does all that stuff real smooth, but it also has an interesting narrative conceit where the first mission, you're some guy and you get killed. Sorry, spoilers. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then after that, you're in a group and you all get sent to jail. And while you're in jail, the people are like, why should I trust this other person in our ragtag of gang of misfits? And then the captain will be like, you don't know that this person did this. And then it goes into their backstory. And then you play through that person's backstory. Through so doing, you get like 5 interesting little tiny micro stories that you can play through that each have their own little arc. And you also get taught that character's specific abilities that you could then later use in the campaign. And you see all the weapons, you get to see what the maps are like, and the maps are all well designed and good and stuff. And just, I liked the framework a lot. My only disappointment was that the hero image of that game is like blue skies on a beach, and I was certain that I was going to follow the Nazis into Argentina, and then I was going to fight in some like Blue Skies, Far Cry kind of battle, tropical zone, and that didn't happen. That was my only disappointing factor in it. Oh, I also like that a friend of the show worked on the little tiny mechanic for the game that I actually think helps it quite a bit, which is ammo pickups have random amounts of bullets for the first time in Call of Duty.
Interesting.
And so it makes collecting ammunition a little more interesting, and you actually occasionally do run out of ammo on your favorite weapon.
It gives it more of that survival element, more of like the Last of Us sort of.
It's mostly an illusion, but it's a successful illusion, and that's all a Call of Duty game campaign is a successful illusion, because it's all on rails, and it's all trying to put you in a direction. But I think this is the best Call of Duty campaign since Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned this probably about 8 billion times on the show, but I play all of those Call of Duty campaigns. I don't really talk about them much, but I do play them all, and that one was darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, darn good.
I feel good about putting a Call of Duty game.
I was quite pleased, and so this might actually give you more confidence, Brandon Sheffield. I was quite pleased to discover that the fans call it the worst yet.
Oh, nice.
Wow,
Yeah, so
I'm actually interested now.
It does help.
It is somewhat disliked. I mean, I think if you're out there and you're listening and you can hear this message, all of those Call of Duty campaigns will give you some fun video game if you need a little bit of video game. And pretty soon you'll be able to play all of them on Xbox Game Pass.
Plus, it's back to good old shooting Nazis.
Yeah, kill them Nazis. I don't like those guys.
You know what I don't like about them? They're rude.
No, they're terrible. We should be shooting them all. So I looked the game up on PC Gaming Wiki to figure out if it's got the hotness. It's got the unlocked frame rate, unless you need to go above 335. It caps there. Interestingly, under HDR is just a question mark on PC Gaming. So
no, PC Gaming Wiki
find out for
strikes
yourself.
again.
So there are not
PC
enough
Gaming
players
Wiki.
of the new Call of Duty to know whether it supports HDR displays. So
Weird.
bottom of the list.
Where do you want to place it? Bottom of the list.
Give it a shot, Frank.
As you can tell, I play like
It's like
7
5,
games a
6
year,
hours.
So I really doubt that's going to happen, Brandon.
If you can get it for $5, it is literally a 6-hour campaign. And
Are they ever $5?
Well,
I don't know. Maybe.
If Frank, I keep telling you, someone's going to email you any minute now about a free Xbox Series X. And,
That's right.
And
Okay.
Microsoft owns Activision now. So any day now, every Call of Duty is just going to appear on Game Pass. Like, no joke.
If you
Okay.
give Frank a free Xbox Series X, we'll give you like a unique color for your name in the insert credit for him.
Yeah.
I'm promising you this.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll make it happen.
Sounds like a priceless.
So where to put it?
Wait, does that mean Activision games are going to be on the Xbox for PC?
The PC app is pretty terrible, so I doubt it.
Well, the Xbox for PC app gets better every version, though. It gets better every version.
I feel like it has fewer games than last time. I looked, but maybe
I
that's true.
launched a game from it yesterday, okay? And it worked.
Well, I'm not saying the quality of the app. I'm saying the selection.
Oh, yeah, I know
of
what you mean.
Of games.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. Anyway, where are we putting it?
Near the bottom.
I'd put it above Mass Effect, because
I think the
Yeah.
funniest answer is number 1.
that's the funniest answer for sure.
Yeah, that would be
But
very funny. Put it above Mass Effect.
It's just it's insert credity enough to have it on the list.
Put it above Moon if you want. I don't know.
No, let's put it.
No.
Well, we could put it above Moon. We could put it above Moon.
Only if it's a quality thing, not a like technically this isn't a new game thing.
No,
because
it's
it's a new
I mean,
English.
it's an interesting game. I don't know.
I do think that
Okay.
campaign's pretty good. So
below
let's put
Cruise
it
and Blast.
number 16. I mean, let's put
Okay,
it above.
great.
Okay. We got one round to go. Frank, what's your last game that you bought in reverse chronological order in 2021 on the Steam store?
That came out in 2021. Let's be clear. I bought several games that didn't come out in 2021.
We all did.
April 23rd.
Oh, almost a nice date.
Again, for $59.99. In fact, I purchased 4 games for $59.99 last year.
Why couldn't you have paid $69.99 on April 20th? Nice.
I wish I had. Near Replicant
Ooh!
version 1.22447487139.
All those goddamn numbers, and they couldn't fit a 69 in there.
It was killing me not putting that one on there. God darn.
they probably got censored from the Japanese
It's square rooted
version,
too.
probably in Japan.
It's after the ellipses.
Got rated Z. I didn't mean to repeat my joke.
I don't know. What do you say about this game?
It's dope,
I
dude.
love
think
it.
the atmosphere, I guess, is really interesting, compelling. The character design, the heart of the story, the music. Gosh darn it, the music is really touches you inside and where you're not supposed to be touched. Combat's very whatever. I put on the accessibility stuff to just kind of auto shoot
No shame
things, and I was fine with
God,
that.
I love accessibility stuff I love it.
Played through it, had a good time, enjoyed the characters and stuff. It didn't really stick with me that much, got to be honest, but had a nice time and feel that this is helping bridge the gulf between me and Alex Jaffe.
That's right.
The hatred that we have for each other. Is I thought I would play his favorite game.
My feeling about this game is that it was, yes, a little more revelatory and revolutionary. It was never revolutionary, but it was a little more exciting in its original release than it is now.
Yes.
But I think that the re-release is good. I think it looks good. I played through it again using all the buttons like normal. I got all the, I didn't get all the weapons. I got a lot of the weapons. I wasn't going to farm all those gold eagle eggs or whatever. But I did get the lunar tear flower just about as fast as you possibly could.
Congratulations.
I'm still so mad
good
about
work,
that.
Good work.
Bingo!
God darn it.
Congratulations.
Jeffy and I disagree on this, but I think that the remixes of the music were tastefully done and fine. He doesn't really like it.
I do not. I think they made him a little too atmospheric.
Yeah, it's less punchy, but I think it works in a 2021 game. Anyway, I like it. I think it's good again. It's always good. It's a good time to play Nier. They didn't ruin the combat so much like I was worried they would. And the little new area was fine. That was cute. I liked it.
I
Whatever.
like the little new area.
Little new pirate ship zone.
Yeah, it was all right. No, I like the new post-game content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Oh, I didn't know it was post game, so I was like, all right, there's more. There's some weird stuff.
Yeah,
okay. Like it wasn't right to just have that in there as if it's.
Would you all like to know
weird.
what my experience was with this Nier Replicant game? Because I think it's fairly original.
Sure.
I remember that episode where we were talking about Xbox or whatever, and I went on that long thing where I said I win by waiting to play Nier for 10 years because now it's 4K 60 on the Xbox Series X, which is true and beautiful.
Yeah.
I have an unopened copy of the original US Nier that I bought off eBay and did not know it was going to be unopened. I have and then I purchased a Japanese copy of Nier, and it also arrived unopened. Much to my shock. And then I bought another I have several unopened copies of the original Nier, and I just I don't want to open them. So when it showed up on Xbox Series X via backward compatibility, I was the inverse of enraged. I was invigorated.
You were unraged.
And I was unraged. My rage was removed. I was deraged. And I played it for 2 hours. Beautiful, smooth 2 hours, captured all the footage. And I'm ready to play more. And then I had already purchased Replicant on Steam, and I played 2 hours of that, and which is, I guess, a surreal way to experience that game. But I think it was good, strange. And I think eventually I'm going to have a really unique perspective on that series, thanks to this exercise I am painstakingly undertaking.
That's probably
Thank you for listening, everyone.
I'm looking forward to that.
So, in other words, since Nier was released on Xbox backward compatibility in 2021, and it's now 4K 60. We could, in a way, just say the original Nier came out in 2021, is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say that, I don't know. Maybe that influences something I don't know. If that makes you maybe think a little bit differently, hey, that's all I'm saying. Just make of that what you will.
So we got to put it on the list.
I mean, if you want to put it above Psychonauts 2, I think that's all right.
No, I don't. You
don't want to put it up that high? Y'all don't want to put it up that high? All right, okay then.
I want to put it below Chicory.
Below Chicory?
Below Chicory.
Maybe below Loop Hero.
Not even in the top 10.
Nier is a kind of a loop hero himself.
He is kind of a loop hero.
Loop Hero's better.
He is a bit of a loop hero. By the way, Loop Hero has dramatically influenced the home life here because my dog sometimes refuses to poop in the evening like he usually does.
Oh, until he sees you playing Loop Hero.
he waits until morning, and I have referred to this as him looping back to tomorrow. And then I started calling him a loop hero. And so now whenever he doesn't poop, I say he's being a loop hero.
My dog does that with food. Just like sometimes his hunger is cyclical. Like he doesn't have the same human hunger schedule. Anyway, enough about that.
I'm okay with putting Nier not at the top because is at the top of my list of like the mid 2000s. And now I don't think that the new version is enough to make it be a new game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I don't feel like it needs to be that high as much as I'll probably replay Nier again before I play most of these others.
Find an Xbox. After you've given Frank an Xbox Series X, give one to Brandon as well.
Yeah, give me
or
one.
give Brandon his own. Actually,
4K.
Yeah, it's probably better. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
4K
right.
60, dude.
Microsoft, if you're listening,
if this thing shows
we need
up,
a couple
I will subscribe to the thing.
Game Pass
same, me
Ultimate.
too.
You got to get Game Pass
I'll get in
Ultimate,
there.
so you get it for the
Can
PC as
we
well.
put it at number 10? Can I argue for a 10 spot?
You need $10. Like,
What do you mean 10?
You don't have to
Yes.
argue. You just
Can
ask.
you give me $10 and then put Nier?
So you want it to be in number 10?
Yeah, I want it to be number 10.
Number 10.
I want to make the top 10.
It could
All right.
be. It could be number 10.
I'm so much more interested in chicory, but okay.
Maybe we could switch something else. I don't know.
If you just bring into the fore the fact that the original Nier is now finally complete.
Jeffy, we're doing top 21, so in a way, number 11 is top
That's a
10.
good point.
Xbox FPS Boost has brought the original Nier back.
We have knocked all of the remakes literally to the bottom of the list. Well, no, except Final Fantasy.
You know what? That's a lie, but it's a lie I'm okay with.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Nier Replicant at number 11.
The
Okay.
Scarneck is down there.
Sorry,
number
Jeffy.
14.
I understand. This is the 2021 list, not the 2010 list.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay. Tim, it's time for your last choice.
I'll tell you what it's not, Alex Jaffe. It is the 2021 list. It's not the 2010 list. But it's not the action button list. So,
All right.
perhaps your numerical enjoyment will find solace with eventuality, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's all.
That does make sense.
My unique perspective remains yet unfurled. Okay? So
We'll
let us keep that. And remember, stay tuned, everyone. Eventually, me and Brandon Sheffield are going to be talking about Bullet Witch for a period of probably about 3 or 4 hours.
That's a heck of a game.
I've prepared a long bullet point
I
list.
played Bullet Witch.
I'm talking about my unique perspective on Nier.
Bullet point witch.
It begins with the bullet points of Bullet Witch. So my number one game of 2021 is a game that is a follow-up, a direct successor, a direct sequel in a series I love, yet seldom talk about. I was ready for this new game in the series. I was playing the first installment of the series on my modded PlayStation as I awaited in excitement. And then the goddarn, out of nowhere, I don't know how or why, I received an email in Japanese from the developers of the game to my business email address in my Twitter profile, offering me a code to download the game from Steam and play in Japanese. They said they'd watch my Tokimeki Memorial review and would like me to do a review of this game. And I was like, whoa, that's real weird. I'm like, I'm definitely not going to do a review of this game, especially because it feels like I've just been given a free copy of a $20 video game and asked to do a review of it. It's like I don't do stuff for promotion. So they put me in a bit of a pickle. But then I played it, and I'll be god darned if it wasn't my favorite video game I played all year last year. And that game is Fuga Melodies of Steel, the sequel to Solato Robo, which is in turn the sequel to Tail Concerto. Perhaps a reason for the lack of extreme name familiarity anywhere in the world is that they'd never really settled on a convention for the names, much less a genre, much less anything resembling a coherent elevator pitch. But Fuga Melodies of Steel is a graphical adventure RPG, dystopian, science fiction, steampunk, fantasy story about anthropomorphic children, some otherkin-looking individuals, children who live in a giant mobile war machine, and they are constantly beset on all sides by horrific oppressors and the characters all have personalities and stories, and you routinely have to kill them in order to continue playing the game. If you get stuck, you have to sometimes let them die by letting them sacrifice themselves, and it ends up kind of crescendoing into something quite potent and enjoyable. And I was thoroughly enraptured by this video game, and I would definitely recommend anybody play it. It's very, very good. You're going to look at the art of it, you're going to look at trailers for it, and it is definitely not a very finished looking video game in many regards, but god darn it if it ain't just a real beautiful thing. A very excellent thing. If you played Tail Concerto on the original PlayStation, and I know you did if you're listening to this, that's maybe you didn't. Man, I mean, this game is nothing like it at all. So, but at the same time, those what made that game so long ago, they're still around, man. I think that's been a theme of several of my picks here today. They're still around, and they're making stuff, and you can get it.
This is it.
You can get it.
So I played it for an hour before the show because it was on my...
Oh, it was on your list of games to play?
It was on my list of games to play, and Tim was like, just play it for an hour before the show so that you
maybe it's not a good play it for an hour game. But
no,
anyway.
I got the sense that, it was more like a play it for several hours to kind of really get in there. But I did get what's good about it. I also got why it's not successful, particularly because, you got, I don't want to say super hardcore, but relatively hardcore RPG battle system in there.
Yeah. Hardcore's head.
Combined with very furry art and playing exclusively as children.
Mm-hmm.
And it just it feels like they're just
it's a mixture, all right.
They're really swirling in there inward in terms of the number of people that are going to want to play it. But it does have the unfinished parts that got to me were like how all the floating UI comes up every time you hit when you're in dialogue, it you get a line of text and then all the floating UI floats up. And then text goes away, and that all goes away, and they don't go away at the same pace. So it's like a little stressful to look at the dialogue, which is frustrating. And because it's Japan children voices, they're very high and squeaky, so I had to turn the voices off. But then
off. Okay, yeah.
I turned it down all the way to basically inaudible. Especially because of the youngest child, May. But I do think that it is a very interesting game because you're pretty much on a linear path.
Yeah.
But and the choices that you make are all about battle configurations and who will attack what and in what way and whether to use this or that kind of a thing. And it as a battle system, it is one of the more simple yet interesting battle systems that I've seen in a game of this type for some time, and I think it is
they nail you
resounding
with it.
Success in that regard. So I mean, I'll keep playing it.
Yeah, it's a real good one to play. I've played it twice. I like it. It's not very long. It's just a great little video game, and I mean it's also it's a great little big video game, if that makes sense. It's the biggest little video game in the world, or whatever.
It's definitely got ambitions in it.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one.
The sort of stuff you don't see in AAA. I mean, it's AAA in the way like Tokimeki Memorial was the AAA-est AAA of all video games ever when it came out. Like it's AAA in that way. I mean, this is my number one. If everybody wants to know what my number two was, Dungeon Encounters. My number three. I don't know if Brandon's going to bring up my number three, but we'll see.
I don't think I will. I'm almost definitely not going to.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, well, let's see. Well, what is yours? Okay, we got to rank this one, huh?
We got to
rank.
I
honestly don't care where it goes. I just want everyone to know that that's my game, Jerry. That's my game, and it doesn't even matter to me where it goes on no list.
Below Nier, right? I guess we're pushing Nier to 12.
I don't know.
I don't care.
You don't have to. You can put.
I didn't even Google whatever
Nice.
you're talking about, so.
I mean-
The Fuga Melodies of Steel.
Fuga, Melodies of
Frank
Steel.
is not going to like
Fuga.
it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd probably put it around 12, sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Who cares?
All right.
It doesn't matter because this ain't my list. And just to let everyone know, again, can I reiterate that one more time? This is not my list. So this is a list made on a panel.
Yeah.
The end.
This is
Thank
nobody's
you. Thank you.
list. This is your list, listeners.
Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess I got to put another one on here. I wish that I had chosen one of my favorites for the final, but I
Oh,
didn't.
Sounds like you lose, Jerry.
What I have instead is a game that I think is, I don't know, it's a funny thing to put on here, in my opinion. I'm going to put on a game. Let's see if anyone can figure out what I'm talking about. Probably not.
Yeah, do it.
Maybe I've already revealed it to Frank. So this game wears its influences so dramatically on its sleeve that it is ridiculous. The music in the overworld is so much like Sonic Adventure that when I think of it, I get that do 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 do. Like that is what comes to mind when I think of the music of this game, even though it isn't that.
Okay.
It has Pokemon style random battles and a
Ooh.
Pokemon style healing station.
Doom, 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 doom.
Yes, exactly. You can roll around the world like a Sonic, and
Yes.
the more times you hit the button, the faster you roll.
Wahoo.
And then finally, the battle system is just Kunio-kun's dodgeball, Super Dodgeball. It is called Dodgeball Academia.
Ooh.
It's just a mishmash of genres, and I put this on my previously before I wasn't actually going to put it on my list. I was going to put it as a special award for a thing that Frank asked for without realizing he asked for it, because Frank's always talking about let's get another game where it's an RPG, but you just have the mechanic is just like you play sports or whatever.
I don't know that I need a new one. I just like.
Like Golf Story.
I don't think you needed it. That's why I said
okay, got it.
ask for it without realizing it. Yeah, it's not like this
Got
is
it.
the game for Frank. It's just So Dodgeball Academia, it's fine. It's kind of cutesy. It has a couple of serious problems. Like for example, the roll button is different in battle and in the world, which is inexcusable in my opinion. But it's just like I picked it up expecting to play it for 15 minutes and then never look at it again. And
Mhm.
instead I played it for about 4 or 5 hours.
That's interesting.
Except for the battle system being pretty action intensive, it's on its way to being a dinner time video game. It's because it's very like
DTVG.
chill and hangouty and like anime set in a school kind of situation deal. It's just like it's just a place you can go. And so I wouldn't put it all the way high on this list, but I feel like it's the kind of thing that someone that listens to this show might make. And in fact, maybe they listen to this show.
Maybe.
Yeah, shout us out if you
Maybe-
made
maybe-
Dodgeball Academia.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm a little humiliated here to say that after getting all the way through this show, having played literally every single game mentioned, you finally got to another one that I've played. So I played literally every game that we talked about, so I win. This game was on my radar because it reminded me of Inazuma 11, and I'm always all about
Yeah.
playing anything that is. It's very, very, very Inazuma 11-esque in terms
Yeah.
of the way it actually plays out. And Dodgeball is just like, I don't know, Dodgeball's just a very good video game mechanic that is underused a billion%.
Yeah, it's got specials and supers and stuff in it, and
It's one of those things. It feels like it was a matter of time before someone made it, but it sure was a matter of way too much time before someone made a Dodgeball high school RPG.
Yep.
Cool game.
And I was kind of tired of stuff that clearly was inspired by the Kunio games. I think they're done, but this actually seems to try stuff.
Mhm.
So I appreciate that.
it does. And it neither tries to look like nor directly reference the Kunio games. It's just like,
Yeah.
we liked this mechanic and we're using
Well, and
it.
they're in high school, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh wait, there's a very, very, very good chance that they are listening to this show right now. So
Well,
your
hello,
your
everyone.
game looks very nice.
liked your game,
Read,
turns
watching the trailer. So yeah.
yeah, so there's a good chance they're listening.
Get ready to listen to that overworld music and be like, oh yeah, it's just Sonic Adventure.
Oh,
It's good
yeah.
times. So on the list, I don't know, somewhere in here, round about, I don't know.
Well, if they're listening, it's probably number one. But
I'm gonna try to kick.
if they're listening, it's number one.
No,
but I think
because
I'd put it around right above Cruise and Blast is what I'm thinking.
Right
Right
Cruise and
above Cruise and
Blast.
Blast.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think you can put it over Scarneck.
Yeah. Okay.
Move Scarneck
Okay.
down one, I think.
Okay. Let's get a number 16.
problem there.
We want to put it any higher, or we want to edit this list at all? We want to.
I feel like editing the list is a little. I feel like it's too precious.
We could swap Balan Wonderworld and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and then we could swap Dungeon Encounters and Balan Wonderworld, and then we could swap Balan Wonderworld and Fist Forged in Shadow Torch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
I think
killing
how
me
would
here.
that end up with? I think tweaking the list a little too much is a little
Yeah.
precious.
No, you're right. Let's leave it.
well,
Yeah, let's leave it.
I think there's a rule. I think we can vote on this just if we want to move Balan Wonderworld somewhere. I'm going to propose that.
You move it. So I'd say swap it with Got G, dude.
I'm okay
Swap
with
it with
that.
GOTG.
Make it-
Swap it.
I'm comfortable with that.
Balan Wonderworld
Cool.
at number
Brandon, are
4.
you comfortable with that?
Yeah, let's make a number 4, and it's the number of death, which is perfect.
That's
Being in the top 5 is not good enough. It's got to be number 4.
Here's what I want you to do. Frank, you're going to read number 21. Tim, you're going to read number 20. Brandon, you're going to read number 19. And that's how we're going to do the list.
Before we do that, I would like to reiterate once again for everyone
that
listening.
this is your personal list.
No, for everyone
This is
who's
the list that
listening
you
who
made by yourself?
is in my Discord and
favorite
everyone
list?
who is in my email inbox and my Twitter inbox and my Instagram message requests folder, in my Facebook DM message requests folder. Would like to reiterate for everyone, this is not my list. What is my list? You can't have it. I will
Right.
not.
okay. Coming in at number
Okay, let's read
21
it.
is Mass Effect Legendary. I said Legendary Edition.
Coming in at number 20 is Moon Remix RPG Adventure, a game I recently decided I don't like.
Straight in at number 19 is Call of Duty: Vanguard.
The campaign
The
version.
campaign version.
Number 18, Cruise and Blast.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Jarvis, for that one. Coming in at number 17, Scarneck Nexus, a video game I will play as soon as I have some time to play a video game.
At number 16, the second game in a row that I nominated and am now reading is Dodgeball Academia.
Coming in at number 15, nominated by yours truly, is Final Fantasy 1 through 5 Pixel Remaster. We roped them all together. I think only 1 through 5 came out last year. Is that correct?
And 6 is coming out in 2 weeks or next week. So 2022
All right.
list is coming up. Number 14, Ghost and Goblins Resurrection, a game that I would not have put on this list.
Nice. Number 13,
like it, though.
once again, I'm apparently pacing myself quite well because I nominated this one as well. Loop Hero, number 13. Lucky 13.
Number 12, looks like crap. Fuga Melodies of Steel. Game
Game of the year!
It's just a bit for me. I don't know. It looks fine. It looks fine.
Well, coming in at number 11 is Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139... ... I have a unique perspective on this game that I am not ready to share.
Number 10, Greg Lobanov's Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Greg Lobanov did not make it solo, but did a lot of it.
He did create Deus Ex, though.
Yeah, he did create Deus Ex.
So at number 9 is Lost Judgment. That is the entire title, correct? All right, it's not
That's it, yeah.
Yakuza Gaiden.
I hope they find it.
Lost Judgment.
Yeah. And coming in at number 8, similarly to Lost Judgment, is Psychonauts 2, also available on Xbox Series X. Get Frank that Xbox.
I'll play it again.
Get it for him.
Number 7 is Hitman 3, featuring Tim's new house. That's a callback to earlier.
Oh, yes.
Earlier
Coming in at
episode.
number 6,
Pretty good.
Very
a
good.
contentious one, I'd say, which is Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker, considering that none of us played it.
Yeah, but I don't have to. Coming in at number 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd swap this with Endwalker. I think it's funny. But anyway, no Chris Pratt, in case you were...
We could maybe do
No,
it.
we established the rule.
Oh yeah, we said we won't. Okay. Number 4, the number of death is Balan Wonderworld, which I think people give another chance. Give it a shot. Give it a shot on a platform
But not
that
right
has
now while it's
a lot of power.
$40. Come
Give
on.
me that stuff.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, wait till it's $15
Just
again.
wish list that
$40.
on Steam.
Mate?
Give him a little boost there with the wish list. In the top 3 now, number 3, Dungeon Encounters, which I haven't played and I kind of forgot what it's about. So no commenting here. Let's move on.
It's real good. Number 2, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Very good game. If you need it, it's basically the roadside sign that says last rest stop for like 88 miles or whatever of video games. So there's not going to be another one for a long time. So you might as well pull
now,
over.
Folks.
Pull over.
Oh, wow.
Go over, get some gas,
get some
peanuts.
I just realized what number 1 is. It's kind of cool.
Number 1, the best first hour in a Metroidvania, Fist,
Wow.
Forge in Shadow Torch.
FIST.
Cool. I don't know if it actually deserves number 1, but great.
I feel like it does, kind of.
I'm happy with this.
I think there's a better game that it has a 4-letter word that starts with F
and then a
as
colon.
the first word and a colon, in the title, I think.
Yeah.
I could think of a better one.
And then a preposition in the
whatever,
second half
Fist
of the
is
title.
cool, though.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, I think it's
All
interesting to be there.
Who cares?
So go ahead and play all those games. I'd also like to recommend that if you're listening to the show on any platform where you can subscribe to a review podcast, that you engage with us in that way to keep the algorithms pushing us upwards and forwards. You can also go to patreon.com/insertcredit where you could become a patron to submit your own topics, listen to monthly bonus episodes, and get other exclusive content. You can also join us on forums.insertcredit.com and follow us on Twitter for our own personal updates. And the show is at Insert Credit. I'm at Alex Jaffe, Brandon is at Necrosofty, Tim is at 108, Frank is at Frank Cifaldi. This show is edited by the great Esper Quinn, with music by Kurt Feldman. Once more, I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Spaldi, but I don't endorse what Jaffe said about go play all of these games. Don't go play literally all of these. Just, most of them.
Just Fuga Melodies of Steel. I'm Tim Rogers. Please just play Fuga Melodies of Steel. Thank you.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. Give Balan Wonderworld another shot.
And show.
The end.
And your game has now been saved.
Oh, I'm just going to say, Brandon, did you want to just run through a couple one-sentence descriptions of if I had a list of like 50 games to go through? Just list a whole bunch of games that we didn't mention and just be like, I played this, but whatever.
Sure.